Yeah, 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 yeah. Shake it, but keep pointing out all the lies. Putting the scripture right in your eye. The Bible guy, he reads Hebrew and Greek and shows you that your book's not unique. The Bible guy, he turns through the pages until every Christian rages. The Bible guy, watch one time and you're hooked. Now let's watch why the Christians get cooked. The Bible guy.
Howdy, everyone. Bible Guy here, coming at you live from Northeast Texas. Guys, here's something exciting to tell you all. If, we have had such a hard time getting callers from the YouTube side of things, mostly because I really am technologically inept, and thus, working the whole video ninja thing has been a nightmare for me. However, we now have a method for taking callers from YouTube, literally from anywhere, that is so much easier. And if you're looking at the top right of your screen, you'll notice that the call to show, the URL has changed, because now we are using Discord so that we can take callers from YouTube much easier. tinyurl.com/BG show Discord. Go to that website if you're on YouTube and you're in opposition, or during office hours, you're a friendly, you'd like to call in. And this is so much easier. One, I will be able to know the names of the people who are in there. And two, they won't all come on the scene all with their mics on all at the same time. And it's just, it's so much better for someone like me who's technologically inept. Hi, hello, Christine the Godless. So good to see you. So yeah, there we go. We'll be able to take callers from the YouTube side so much easier. So everyone, make sure you tap that screen, share the live with those you love, with those you hate, with your friends and with your enemies. Let's get the word out there so we can have some interesting conversations about the Bible. It looks like we already have a guest on the TikTok side. We have here Abionite, Unitarian Humanist. Abionite, I'm going to ask you 3 preliminary questions, and then we'll get to the conversation.
Hold on. That's not my name. That's not my name.
Abionite, Unitarian Humanist?
Yeah, humanist. You don't know the words?
Oh, I misread it. It's fine. Anyways, I'm going to ask you. This is not a great start to the call. I'm going to give you 3 preliminary questions, and then we'll get to the conversation. Question, man, this is not a great. Wait.
Learn some words.
Did you learn any manners? Did your mom not teach you any manners? So we're going to have a grown-up conversation. You need to chill out. All right, chill out. We can be both civilized. I misread your name. Don't get your underwear in a bundle, dude. All right. Now, I'm going to ask you 3 preliminary questions, and then we'll get to the conversation. Hopefully, a civilized conversation. Question number 1, are you at least 18?
Yes.
Question number 2, what pronouns do you go by?
He.
And question number 3, are you a Christian? And by Christian, I mean a person who believes that Jesus is the Messiah and the Son of God.
I don't believe in messiahs. I believe that all people can become sons of God. I'm not a traditional Christian.
Sure, you're special. I get it. Now, which one of the 3 topics on the board would you like to talk to us about?
I agree. The Bible, parts of the Bible are BS. Traditional Christianity is false. Jesus was dead and he is alive in some way. I'm not sure how he is alive, but I believe that God is powerful to keep his people alive.
So, which one of these do you want to talk about?
Listen, I don't disagree with you on them, so I don't know. I mean, you can find somebody else who agrees and who disagrees.
You're just a professional waster of time. Thank you. Anyways, classical thought. I'm going to ask you 3 preliminary questions, and then we'll get to the conversation. Question number 1, are you at least 18 years old?
Yeah.
Question number 2, what pronouns do you go by?
He, him.
And question number 3, are you a Christian?
Yeah.
All right, I'm Dalton, the Bible Guy. This is Ashland. Which one of the 3 points on the board would you like to discuss with us?
Yeah, I'm just gonna say what's gonna be the motivation for going to.
you. I don't. None of that was an answer to my question. Which one of the three
I
topics?
just said what's the motivation for 2? Yeah, the
For number
second
2.
one.
Oh, number 2. Okay. So Christianity is false. The reason I think Christianity is false is because the central claim of Christianity is that Jesus is the Messiah, and
Mhm.
yet he didn't fulfill even one prophecy about the Messiah from the Hebrew Bible.
Oh. So how do you like reconcile with like Whispers of Wisdom and Solomon when it says like the Messiah is going to be crucified under like a virgin?
It says the Messiah it uses the word crucified and also uses the word Messiah.
Not crucified, of course, but it just says that he will live and die.
It says Messiah will live and die.
Yeah, within Whispers of Solomon.
Wait, okay. Where in Wisdom of Solomon chapter 2 does it use the word Messiah? Here, I'll pull it up. Which verse uses the word Messiah? Like, I'm not even aware that Wisdom of Solomon is a book of prophecy. As far as I was aware, this is wisdom literature. So in which verse of Wisdom chapter 2 does it use the word Messiah or like King, Son of David, like any of the, oh, he ran away. Wow. It's for some reason that seems, this is a weird pattern. This seems to be a favorite of the Phil Bros. They love Wisdom chapter 2, even though the book of the Wisdom of Solomon isn't a book of prophecy. It's wisdom literature. It's poetry. It's proverbs. It's not prophecy. And they always seem to go to this. They don't realize that this is just a passage describing how righteous people in general suffer at the hands of wicked people. But for some reason, they love this passage, which I think was written, I could be wrong, but between the 1st century BCE and the 1st century CE. Anyways, craziness. I think he's been gone for a minute now. I don't know. I just got here. Oh, he must have like pieced out as soon as he's like, oh fuck, he knows the Bible. I should dip out. Phil Bros, they don't know the Bible. So, it is what it is. Rooted reasons. I'm going to ask you 3 preliminary questions and then we'll get to the conversation. Question number 1, are you at least 18 years old?
Yes.
Question number 2, what pronouns do you go by?
He, him.
And question number 3, you're a Christian?
Yeah.
All right, I'm Dalton, the Bible guy. Which one of the 3 topics on the board would you like to discuss with us?
Are you only holding to those 3 topics? Would you be open to a conversation about the existence of God?
That is part of number 2. The reason I think Christianity is false is because not only has Jesus never fulfilled any prophecies from the Old Testament, but no one's ever given me a good reason to think that the Christian God exists.
Do you believe God exists at all? I mean, you're atheist, so you don't believe God exists at all, right?
Yeah, I've never been given a good reason to think that a God exists.
Have you ever heard the argument from motion?
Yes, it is probably the most, in my opinion, the most, the best argument for God, but it fails once you get into B theory of time.
What's your objection to it?
Yeah, I don't see that there's any problem with there being an infinite regress of like cause and effect.
You don't see a problem with infinite regress. So,
No.
Well, could I use an analogy to show you what I would see a problem with infinite regress? Like how I see a problem with infinite regress?
Sure.
So like, let's just say I was to plug my phone, like plug a charger into my phone, but don't plug it into the wall.
Uh-huh.
Like, will my phone be charging?
If you don't plug it into a wall, no.
Yeah. Like, so what if I did that like 10 times? What if I plug 10 chargers into my phone, but I don't plug any of them into the wall?
Wait, hold on. This is like going to be the same problem that you're going to have. Is that you just said that there's like this dichotomy that would it be charging? Well, you could try to plug it into a power pack.
Right, but what if I don't? Would it be charging?
It also,
So you don't plug it into anything at all, is what you're saying.
It also assumes, here's the problem with the assumption. In the analogy you've given, power has to travel from one cord to the next.
Correct.
But there's nothing that's traveling in under B theory of time. There's nothing there's nothing that needs to get from point A to point B.
That's the idea of theory of motion, though, is that nothing changes without something changing it.
Well, actually, I would say nothing changes at all because change is just an illusion under B theory of time, where all like moments of time are equally actual and therefore like like the past, the present, and future are all equally real and exist at the same time.
So you believe everything is actual, like, currently? Like,
yeah, every moment of time is actual.
would you say the same thing about things?
I mean, in that things exist within moments of time and all moments of time are actual, then those things exist at all moments of time.
So, like, was there a time where like cars didn't exist?
Where cars, like, there's a time where, like, on all the slivers of time, cars exist on some of those slivers of time, but not on all those slivers of time.
So there was a time where cars weren't actual.
Yeah, but that time is actual right now, as is the time where the cars do exist.
But what I'm saying, I'm asking about the cars. The time the cars didn't exist. Were the cars actual at that point?
Yeah, but well, no, they were actual in this sliver of time, which is actual. You have to understand that the moment in the past when the cars didn't exist, and the moment in the present where cars do exist, both of those slivers of time are both equally actual and both actually exist.
But what about the car specifically?
Yeah, the car exists within the sliver of time, within the sliver of time which is present.
So cars were always actual. There wasn't a point where cars weren't actual.
Now. Because now has always been.
Now has always been. What do you mean by that?
So under B theory of time, as I've already explained, all moments from the past, the present, and the future are equally real and actual and actually have existence right now. So therefore, like, the car has technically always existed in the now, and the now has always been.
What observable evidence would you have to prove that?
Scientists generally point towards special relativity as evidence and simultaneity as evidence for B theory of time, because this is more of a question for like a physicist, but basically because time is relative and people experience time in different ways at different times, it sort of gives us it's just necessarily true that B theory of time would follow.
Do you want me to see if Quantonaut's available?
If you want to, yeah. If he is
I can just
available.
need a little explanation on special relativity, that may be able to help us like further the conversation a little bit. I'm maybe a little unfamiliar with that.
Well, basically, so as you know, space and time are basically like they're continuum, right? If you affect one, you affect the other. So if you stretch time, if you stretch space, you stretch time. If you like squeeze space, you're also squeezing time. So, for example, if you're next to like a black hole, okay, time is going to work a little bit differently for you than it would be for someone else. You're both living in the same moment, but you're experiencing time in different ways, and that's what is necessarily true due to like that. That's why B theory of time naturally follows, which is why B theory is actually like the consensus view amongst physicists.
So just to make sure I'm understanding, just to dumb it down a little bit, special relativity is essentially just things or people or beings being able to experience time differently, but still at the same time.
Yeah,
is that what that is?
That's like a really lay person like explanation, and I'm sure I butchered it to some extent. The best people that could give you more information on how we know B theory of time is true are going to be your physicists. People like is going to be like Dr. Blitz or my friend Quantonaut. These are physicists.
Is Chase in here by any chance?
Or Chase?
I feel like Chase would know as well, but I don't think Chase is normally pretty active when they hear physics stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, well, my only argument, 'cause I'm unfamiliar with special relativity, and I'm more than open to hearing somebody explain that to me further. I'm more than open to that. But my only objection that I could think of, without even knowing at all, of course, the only objection I could think of is what we can observe in the observable.
Yeah, this is based on what we can. This is based on what we can observe. Like, is how we come to the conclusion of B theory.
Like for example, I don't have kids right now. Me and my wife don't have kids.
Yeah, in the present, they are actual, but in the future, if you do end up having them.
When you say actual, what do you mean?
Like they exist.
So when I say actual, and maybe that may be where we're having a little bit of a
You have act. You're like I know the difference between act and potency within philosophy.
well, when I say actual, I mean what something currently is in reality now.
Yeah.
So it's
and-
not
yeah.
that something exists.
Yeah,
It's
and your
something- it's what
kids
something-
and your kids have existence. They really do exist in the future, which is happening right now.
That's the thing. They have the potential to exist.
No, they don't.
But
no, they
me
no.
and my wife, have to
From your
have sex
perspective-
in order for that to be actualized.
Well, no, in the future, which is equally real, they already exist.
How will we know that the future is equally real? Like, would you be able to prove to me that
Because-
tomorrow is going to happen?
Well, that's just what the entailment of B theory of time is. That all moments in time are equally present, and no moment of time has like special like is specially like positioned above another.
Yeah. I just may need to look into that a little more because I don't think I'm understanding.
There's a great video on this topic. Are you familiar with In a Nutshell, the YouTube channel?
That sounds familiar, but I haven't watched any of their content.
They're also called I can't pronounce it. It's a German word, Kurgesagt or something like that. But you can just type in a Nutshell and then type in block theory of time in a nutshell, and you'll get a fantastic video explaining the idea of B theory of time.
Okay, cool. I appreciate it.
Happy to help. Anything else?
Yep.
Is this like
no, I'm all good.
all right? Well,
What was you about
Just
to ask, I'm
FYI,
sorry?
Chase is available in like 2 minutes. If we don't have a guest, I don't know. It's up to you.
do you want to hang around for our physicist friend to come in and help explain B theory?
I may be able to come back in like 10, 15 minutes if he's still here. But I can't hang at the moment. I gotta go run and do something real quick.
That's fine. That's fine.
Okay.
All right. You have a wonderful day.
You as well.
We have some super chats here from at Jonathan Martin with the $20. Your knowledge of the Bible and language is invaluable. I hope your new system works well, and let's cook some Christians. That's the hope. That's the hope. And speaking of which, just a quick reminder to everyone on YouTube, if you want to be able to call in and have a debate with me, the Bible guy, you can do so now at tinyurl.com/Bible BG Show Discord. The link is in the description down below. You just click on that. You go get taken right to the Discord. You go down to the section called Bible Guy Call-In Stage, and you can become part of the audience. And then I can call you up to have conversation. And at Chip Payet with the $9.99, wishing you a better future in streaming. Wish accepted. Thank you, Chip Payet. Much appreciated. But everyone, make sure you're tapping that screen. Share the live with those you love, with those you hate, with your friends and with your enemies. Let's get the word out there and have some more good conversation. We're gonna put this person down as rooted. Oh wait, today's date is August 20th, 2026. Rooted reason. Talk of B theory of time. Alex says, I'm not religious, but I met Jesus down at Home Depot. I let him fill me up. That's for sure. Whoa. Good for you. Let's see. Cyber's here. Howdy, Cyber. Good to see you there.
Hi, Cyber.
Jesus rose from the grave. I don't believe you. He died for our sins on the cross. No, he didn't. He was just executed. He lives forever in heaven. I don't believe heaven exists. But Bob T985, you're more than welcome to call in if you would like to defend your claim there. I don't believe you. I don't think you're correct. But maybe you have a good argument for why I should believe you.
Also, if you're here, make sure you're tapping on that screen, sharing out the live, reposting, doing all the things. If you're sending super chats or on the YouTube side, we much appreciate you as well. Dalton, didn't you say you might expand to Twitch as well?
Yes, I'm thinking about trying to get this over on Twitch. That way we get an even bigger audience. It should be as simple as going over to Twitch and like mirroring mirroring this over there, and they'd be able to see it. That's the idea, at least. If I gift you, will you answer my question? Wait, what question? Don't
You have
miss-
a guest, by the way.
Oh, fantastic. Hannibal St. Fox is coming up. Hannibal, I'm going to ask you 3 preliminary questions, and then we'll get to the conversation. To the person AC in the conversation, no, I'm not a Christian. Hannibal, are you at least 18 years old?
Yes.
And what pronouns do you go by?
He, him.
And are you a Christian?
I am.
All right, I'm Dalton, the Bible guy. This is Ashland. Which one of the 3 topics on the board would you like to discuss with us?
Yes, so I'm bird dogging for a larger content creator. Is that something you're interested in?
Bert
Are you the one that came up in
Yeah, bird dogging. Yes.
Were you the one that came up?
Joining a. Can you be quiet for a second? I'm sorry.
Whoa.
Are you interested in joining a larger audience?
Hey, why don't you be quiet? Hey, why don't you be quiet for a second? Ashlyn, go ahead and say what you're going to say.
I was just going to ask them if they were the person that came up like a month or so back requesting these other like larger content creators, and if they ever wanted to do a stream with them. I don't think, Dalton, did you ever get an email or something? Wasn't that in the works? That they said, like, this sounds like that individual.
Although if this is this person's representative, I don't know if I want to collaborate with such a person. So, my dude, are you not actually here to debate, or are you just here to like try to get me to debate someone else?
Yeah, I'm trying to see if you want to reach a larger audience on YouTube.
I'm fine on YouTube. Are you not here to debate?
Okay. So it's a no?
All right. If you're not here to debate, do not request up. I don't want to talk to you. Anyways, I don't need help.
Yeah, you literally said that you would debate these people, that they can reach out to you. And as far as I was aware, they never did. That I don't even know that this individual has any connections with them. That there has been no presented evidence. I don't even think they DM'd you regarding this subject, if I recall. But I'm not on your side of the DMs. But I remember the individual's voice. I don't remember the creators or anything, but they were doing this before, like, oh, you need to debate so and so, and you're just like, okay, have them reach out to me.
Yeah, anyone's welcome to call into the show and debate. Evan says, I explained why Netanyahu made my burrito $5. Why aren't they on the dollar menu anymore? Taco Bell. You'll have to ask the CEO of Taco Bell. I don't know what that's in reference to. At PHX Honey with the $10. Keep up the awesome work. Ready, enjoy the content. You really, I'm sure you meant really enjoy the content. Thank you, PHX. Much appreciated. We're gonna keep the content coming out. I was just telling Ashland, I have a really great idea for a video for the future. So we often talk about on the show how Christians will often take the Old Testament out of context and mistranslate it in order to make it look like Jesus fulfilled prophecies. And I thought, what a great mechanism for showing Christians what they're doing by showing Muslims doing the same thing to their book. Because so Muslims will sometimes take Bible passages out of context in order to show that Muhammad was prophesied in the Old and New Testament. You can call it horseshit, Matthew. But if you're just going to, Matthew, also, if you just keep like typing the same thing in over and over again, I will just mute you. So type horseshit one more time and you'll be muted. Simple as that. But my knowledge is incomplete. I have more knowledge than you do, I guarantee. But you're more than welcome to call in and show us that I'm wrong. But they won't call in. They won't call in. Atheism is nothing more than a vague abbreviation of idolatry. Well, that's got to be the stupidest thing I've heard today. Because in idolatry, you worship a god. And in atheism, I don't believe in any gods. So that's
Also,
stupid.
No caps. We occasional caps is fine, but like, don't yell at us.
Yeah, Matthew.
That's not yelling. That's all caps. And
Matthew,
you guys,
hey,
you guys read it,
fun fact, Matthew. You are capable of saying what you need to say in regular font. Now, I'm going to ask you 3 preliminary questions, Matthew, and then we'll get to the conversation. Question number 1: are you at least 18 years old?
I'm old enough to be your grandfather, kid.
All right. And then what pronouns do you go by?
I'm not gonna play into that bullshit. You know what? This
Yes,
is the thing. If
It's weird. He says, I'm not going to play into that bullshit, which is weird because he's using a
you
pronoun
truly believe God
because,
didn't
because he's using a pronoun to
You
tell
wouldn't
us
feel
that he's not going to
His
play into our
private-
bullshit,
exist,
which is kind of hypocritical if you think
you're
about it.
dumber.
Like he says, I'm not going to buy into that bullshit while also buying into that bullshit at the same
Bullshit.
time.
Dumbass.
You're really
You're a
making
kid.
you're really making Jesus look really great right now by crashing out right
You
from the
don't know
start.
shit.
Oh,
That's
I
why
know.
you mute me.
I know more than you for
That's why
sure.
you mute me.
Oh no, I have to mute you because you're crashing out. Like if you came up here and
You're
acted
scared.
like a civilized human being, I wouldn't have to do
You're
this.
scared.
Also, Ashlyn, could you?
You're scared.
Oh, you have
You have no.
Oh, absolutely not.
You have no rebuttal.
I do.
Zero.
Well, you haven't made an argument yet. Here,
Zero.
can you,
Well,
here, Ashlyn, can you mute Indica
keep-
in the comment section?
You keep muting.
Here, Matthew, I want to
Scared?
have I want to have a conversation with you,
Scared.
but you got to stop.
Scared.
Okay.
Scared. You're
Sorry, I'm also looking at the YouTube chat because I've severely, and I think we've done a little neglect to the YouTube chat, so I'm trying to show them some love. It is very difficult to pay attention to all this stuff at once, so I promise you it's not because Dalton and I don't care. It's just there is a lot going on to listen to conversations, respond to things, and to keep up with that. Like it is, it's no human attention can do it. But also, Matthew, that was dumb.
Yeah, Matthew, you're more than welcome to call back, but you have to act like an adult. I don't talk to children, and you might be old enough to be my grandfather, but you act like my 8-year-old nephew. All right.
Also, just to Johnny said that Matthew's been on their lives before as well. YouTube Punk, one of our mods, a friend of the community, Cameron Bennett, and his family, they're almost homeless. That charity function is still going on, and the GoFundMe is listed in the YouTube chat. We're a community here, so any support is necessary or that you can do would be helpful. I don't know why I said that, but thank you.
Okay, we have a new guest over on the Discord side of things. We got here Vara calling into the show. Vara, let us know that you're ready by alerting us that you are ready to. What's the button they have to push to let us know that they're ready to come up, Ash? Ashlyn. Ashlyn.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. What's the
Give me a
button that?
second.
What's the button that? Okay, there they go. They figured it out. All right, we're gonna bring up Vara now.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. Okay, let's see.
Can YouTube and TikTok hear me? Is the other question.
Oh, that's weird. Why are they? There's for some reason I don't know. I'm not seeing the option to accept them up. Why is that? They don't need to be my friend, do they?
No, because I wasn't your friend on this as a test.
All right. Well, the question is, why am I not able to bring Vara up?
Are you able to make me a mod and maybe I can figure some of this stuff out for you? Like if I need super mod in this.
How do I?
Oh, you need to invite. I think are they?
Oh, you're right. Oh wait, it's. I got it. It's. I forgot. It's the right click button. That's what it is. Okay.
Okay.
Vara. Hello, Vara. I'm going to ask you 3 preliminary questions, and then we'll get to the conversation at hand. Vara, are you at least 18 years old?
Yep.
Hello?
Yes. Hello.
Hello, Vara. Are you at least 18 years old?
Yes.
All right. And what pronouns do you go by?
Pronouns. Oh, I'm sorry. English, not my first language.
Oh, examples of pronouns in the English language are he, or she, or they.
Oh, there's actually only one word for he and she in my language. It's just he. Everybody's he.
Oh, okay. Well, in English, do you go by he or she or they?
Whatever.
Oh, just pick one.
What do I have to pick?
because that's how
It
that's how the
would-
show
would-
goes. So my audience knows how to
In
refer to you.
Okay, let's go by he.
All right. And are you a Christian?
Mm, depends what you mean by Christian.
Do you accept that Jesus is the Messiah and the Son of God?
Not really.
Then what are you?
I would classify myself as free thinking, spiritual nerd guy.
What brings you up to the Bible Guy show?
Well, it says that the Bible is BS. I would disagree with that.
Wait, do you think the Bible's true?
Well, if you read it literally, no, but I think it's a metaphorical
I don't care.
interpretation.
I really don't care if it's metaphorically true. I only care about whether or not, like, if God actually exists, or if Jesus was really the Messiah, whether or not he really died for our sins. Like, that's the only thing I really care about. I don't care about what sort of metaphorical truth you might like derive from it. It's not interesting.
Well, okay.
No.
Well, let's talk about what you care about then.
No, I don't.
Just
Wanna-
really, really quick, as far as not actually engaging in something that's pertinent to this life. We have a lot of mods and a lot of them are inactive on TikTok. Do you mind making Cyber, since Cyber's here quite often, a mod to help? Because now I'm trying to run between different chats and it's just really difficult for me.
Cyber deconstruction.
Yeah.
Are they over on the YouTube
They're in the
side?
chat. No, in TikTok.
Oh, on TikTok. Okay, yeah, no problem. Let me see if I don't.
because we've
actually,
got
well, actually, I don't even know if I have enough room for another mod. Like, I might be all booted up on mods.
how many are actually here is the problem.
Yeah, well,
Often chapters here. There's a lot of them that are here.
yeah, I
but
can't. I
some of
can't.
them don't.
Let me see. Add moderator. Let's see. All right. It looks like I have enough room for one. So there we go. All right. There we go. Anyways, Vara, it doesn't seem like you are a Bible believer, and we're only really here to talk about people who actually believe in the
Well,
Bible.
I am, but not in the literal sense.
Yeah, not in the way that anyone actually cares about. So thank you for calling in, and you have a wonderful day.
Okay.
Wow, what a waste of time. All right. Matthew is coming up on the TikTok side. Matthew, are you at least 18 years old? Looks like Matthew's
They're not
having-
loaded in on
Yeah.
my end.
Yeah, Matthew's having a hard time loading in. They got some of that Holy Spirit Wi-Fi, maybe. So we'll give them a second to load in, and hopefully, if not, we'll have at least two other people requesting up, Plink and Toxel. We'll in order of importance, we'll get to Plink, and then after Plink, we'll get to Toxel. Matthew, it doesn't look like you're going to be able to load in, buddy. I'm going to give them at least 1 or 2 more minutes to load in. If they don't, I'm just going to drop them and move on to someone who's got the boots for this hike. All right. We got here Plink coming up. Plink. Plink, are you at least 18 years old?
Yes, I am.
And what pronouns do you go by?
He.
And are you a Christian?
Yes, I am.
All right. I'm Dalton, the Bible guy. This is Ashland. Which one of the 3 topics on the board would you like to discuss with us?
So I saw the Bible is BS, and I was kind of looking at, like, I don't know. I have a lot of faith in the Bible, have a lot of faith in God, so I want to debate about that.
All right. Well, the reason I say that the Bible is bullshit is because the Bible contains scientific errors, historical errors, contradictions, and failed prophecies.
Okay. Yeah, I'm also going to say I completely, I'm not going to bash any of your beliefs or anything like that, but I do think that's false because of all the predictions that are right in the Bible, like historical predictions that he's made with... like in the Bible, it explains a lot of things. He's metaphorical, like the other guy was saying, but he's just like the Noah's Ark thing of coral being on mountains and
Well,
stuff like that.
Well,
It's just-
of course, there's coral on mountains. Mountains haven't always been mountains because of the way that plate tectonics work.
completely in the middle of the U.S. It
Yeah.
kind of dated
Yeah.
back to when.
Yeah, like long time ago, different parts of the world were underwater at different times in history. So we would expect to see this. But like, there's not enough water in the entire world, including underwater geysers and icebergs and like the clouds, to flood the entire world to the very tops of all the mountains. So there's not enough water. There's not enough room in Noah's Ark for all the species that would have existed at this time. And also, also Noah's story is plagiarized.
Why do you think the Bible doesn't? Like, why do you think it doesn't add up with anything? What's one example of that? Like,
for example, Jesus gives a prophecy that actually fails to come to pass. He told his disciples that he was going to return in their lifetime.
when's that? Can you
In
is
Matthew,
there proof of that?
Yeah, Matthew chapter 16, verses 27 through 28. Jesus says to the disciples, here, I'll pull it up on the screen. Let's see. All right, Matthew chapter 16. For the Son of Man is to come with his angels in the glory of his Father, and then he will repay everyone for what has been done. Truly, I tell you, there are some standing here who will not taste death before they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom. But they all died, and Jesus didn't return.
I can see where you're coming from of that, but have you ever have you heard of Born in Bethlehem?
Are we pivoting away from this?
No, I see where you're coming from with that. I mean, maybe like, here, let me read it. The Son of Man is coming with the angels in the glory. So he said what exactly? My bad.
For the Son of Man is to come with his angels in the glory of his Father, and then he will repay everyone for what has been done. That's obviously a reference to the second coming, right?
Okay.
And he says, truly I tell you, there are some standing here who will not taste death before they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom.
Well, maybe he meant metaphorically of like future on, like, you know what I mean?
What?
Like future people, not them.
No, he says, I tell you. And we read earlier in the passage, it says in verse 24, then Jesus told his disciples. So he's speaking to his disciples, and he says, I tell you. That means he's talking to the disciples, not to another audience that isn't present.
Well, must have meant something different because it didn't happen. You know what I mean?
Well, no, it means what it says, and it just failed to come to pass because he wasn't really a prophet. It's the most simplest explanation.
Wait, what do you mean that? I'm confused by your last statement. Are you saying you're pre-assuming or making a presup that because it didn't happen in the way that it said it, that it must mean something else? That sounds like confirmation bias to me.
Well, I'm saying maybe he meant something else by it.
But
that's a possibility, but what argument do you have to substantiate that besides, I believe in this thing and it didn't occur in the way that I wanted it to, so therefore it's gonna then it must be some other way.
Yeah, what in the text would lead us to believe he meant something else and other what he just plainly says?
I couldn't tell you that, really.
Are you open to the idea that maybe Jesus meant what he said and he was just wrong?
I don't think. Well, shit.
Because if you're honest, the answer should be yeah. I'm open to that idea.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to look more into it, but as of right now, the answer is yes, sir.
All right. Well, I'll consider that a minor concession. I guess we can move on to the Bethlehem thing if you want.
Yeah. So what I was going to say, are you familiar with that? The Born in Bethlehem?
Except for here's a pop quiz for you. Micah 5:2. Does it say anything about someone being born in Bethlehem? Does it say anything about being born or birthed? Does it use either of these words?
Not those words, no, but it refers to it, yeah.
Does it refer to the village of Bethlehem or the clan of Bethlehem?
The village, I'm pretty sure.
It says, "But you, O Bethlehem of Ephrathah, who are one of the little clans of Judah." This has nothing to do with the village, like the location, the village of Bethlehem. It has everything to do with rather a clan of Bethlehem. So if you wanted to think of a clan that came from Bethlehem, and it's a clan whose origin is from ancient days, what clan does that sound like?
Yeah.
Sounds like David's clan, right?
Yeah.
All this prophecy is saying is that someone is going to come from the clan of King David, from the dynasty of David, and it says that they will be a ruler in Israel, a Moshal Yisrael. But Jesus never actually was a ruler in Israel in any way that's demonstrable.
Well, maybe like the all-knowing God was a ruler of Israel, like really.
No. It says that this king would rule in Israel, but Jesus didn't.
Well, you got me there too, bro. I don't know. I have to look into both of these things, but yeah, I mean, as of right now, you've obviously won, right? But I'm gonna look into more. I'll probably be here again sometime soon, but I'll look into it more. All right. It was great talking to you. I mean, you're feeding me knowledge that I wasn't aware of, so I mean, I appreciate that.
All right, Plink. Well, you have a wonderful day.
You too, man.
All right. We're gonna move on now.
Honestly, W for Plink for being honest. Yeah.
It's more than a lot of Christians give us. All right. We're going to bring up Toxel. Now, Toxel, we're going to ask you 3 preliminary questions, then we'll get to the conversation. Are you at least 18?
Yes, sir, I'm 19.
And what pronouns do you go by?
He, him.
And are you a Christian?
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm Dalton, the Bible Guy. Welcome to the Bible Guy Call-In Show. Which one of the 3 topics would you like to talk to about?
Christianity is false.
All right. The reason I say Christianity is false is because 1, no one's ever been able to demonstrate to me that the Christian God exists. And 2, the central claim of Christianity is that Jesus is the Christ/Messiah. And yet he fulfilled exactly 0 messianic prophecies that are particular to the Messiah from the Old Testament.
Okay. Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Will you go off a scientifically standpoint or a Philbro standpoint?
Phil? I don't like Philbros, but this also isn't a scientific question.
Well, I was just asking what standpoint you'll go off of for the debate. Or you just go off of
the standpoint that I hold is that I've yet to be convinced. Are you asking what kind of evidence I'm looking for?
No, technically yes, but also what evidence you will be proving me wrong with.
Well, I don't have to. I'm just saying that Jesus hasn't fulfilled any prophecies.
It's an internal critique.
Yeah, that is an internal critique of the Bible. Like Jesus didn't fulfill any Old Testament prophecies that are particular to the Messiah. And as regards to the whole God thing, the only thing I'm making a claim of is that I'm unconvinced.
Okay, so you're unconvinced that there is a God? Yes, sir. Okay, so I got that. How do you think that we got here for it without there being a God?
Well, let's say I don't. Let's say I don't know. Why should I think it's God?
To the point how there is only one living Earth for us to be living on that we know of for right now, and
that we know of.
That we know of. Yes, there could be. Who knows? There's science going for it. Looking, I'm pretty sure.
Have we looked at very much of the universe?
No, we haven't. Not yet. That's why I said for right now.
Yeah,
right now.
Life could be as abundant as sand on a seashore, as far as we know. But that doesn't tell me anything about why I should think a God is responsible, though.
I'm getting to it. How do you think that the planets got here?
Let's say I don't know. Why should I think it's God?
Because how most people go to the Big Bang Theory, I can prove that wrong pretty quickly.
Really? Wait. do you disagree with the fact that the universe is currently expanding?
What do you mean? No, the universe is always expanding.
That's all the Big Bang is that the universe
No,
is
that's
expanding. No, not false. The Big Bang Theory is simply just that the universe is expanding, and it's been doing so for at least 13.8 billion years, and that's all the Big Bang Theory is.
No, I'm asking how do you think
Toxel, can you just describe in your own words what the Big Bang Theory is?
the Big Bang Theory is from the point where the universe started as a swirling dot.
Whoa!
That's not what is. That's
The Big Bang. The Big Bang Theory doesn't say anything about a start.
Okay, how did it start then?
We don't know.
Let's go from
The
that.
Big Bang Theory doesn't tell you about a start. All the Big Bang Theory tells us is that roughly 13.8 billion years ago, the universe was very dense and began to expand, but it doesn't tell us anything about what happened prior to that expansion.
Okay. Yeah, I was trying to get off of that. How did it start to be or compacted?
Why should
We've already said it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
What is the relevance of your God? Stop burden shifting
I'm
and
not
just
trying
demonstrate. Well, if you're not trying, you're succeeding, whether you're trying or not. If stop asking the questions of science and just give your argument for why God is the reason.
Is it just that we don't know, therefore it must be God?
No. Is that we don't know that there could be one thing or how we got here? So it
we
has to
don't
be
know.
another high powerful being.
Whoa! Why does it have to be?
That doesn't follow.
Yeah. Why does it have to be a high, powerful being? Like you did just do what I said. You said, I don't know, therefore God. You just used more words to express that same idea. That's called God of the gaps. It is a fallacy. Just because you don't know, it's literally it's called the argument from like ignorance, or maybe even an argument from personal incredulity. Probably more argument from ignorance. I don't know how this could happen or how this happened, therefore it must be my God. But I need some way for me to think that it's the God, other than like we don't know how this thing happened. I would need a reason to think it's God. Just because we don't know how it happened doesn't mean it automatically becomes God.
W Ogre Raid, by the way.
Okay. Can you please rephrase that?
Just
Or can you
because
say it again.
it's what you're engaging is called an it's called an argument from ignorance. We don't know how the universe came to be, therefore it must be God. But I need a reason to think it's God. Otherwise, I'm just going to shrug my shoulders and say, actually, we don't know how the universe started, or even if it did start.
You're very glitchy for me. I don't know why.
I need a reason to think that it's your God.
Oh, okay. The reason that it could be my God, or it is my God, for your standpoint, how it could be, well, I think it is. There are, many places where, for right now, in our universe and time, there's no place
Here,
for us to be.
Can
How do
you
think?
can you make an argument for your God that isn't just an argument from ignorance?
Okay, I'm going to get there, please.
So don't make an
How do you
argument
think that
based
there's
on saying, I don't know how this could be,
I know.
therefore it must be God. Do not make that argument.
Okay. How is there a point? How is there Earth, but not other places that we can live on?
Let's say
Stop.
Stop. Yes, let's say I don't know.
Literally, you're
Why
doing the same thing.
Let's just say I don't know. Why should I think the answer is God?
Because there wouldn't be any other way.
How do you know? How have you exhausted every possible answer?
Because of what God said.
Well, we don't know that God said anything if we don't even know if he exists.
That's another fallacy. It's circular argumentation.
When you said what God said, are you referring to the Bible?
Yes.
Oh, the Bible is definitely not God's word. Or at least, do you think God is like, do you think that your God has like the omni properties? Like he's all knowing, for example?
Yeah, no. He
God
has
is-
a plan.
Your God's not all knowing.
Not from my perspective.
Is he all powerful?
Yes.
All right. Does he have the power to like know if he has all power, does he have the power to know all things?
No, he has a plan for it.
Well, if he doesn't have the power to know all, and by the way, what most people don't understand is that omnipotence is just an umbrella. All the other omni properties, like omniscience, for example, which is the ability of knowing all things, or omnipresence, these are like properties of omnipotence. If you do not possess omniscience and omnipresence, you're not omnipotent because you lack certain powers. Therefore, you're not all powerful. So either your God's all powerful, in which case he has to also be omniscient and omnipresent, or he doesn't have those properties and he's not all powerful.
Okay.
So your God's not all powerful then, or he is, in which case he is all knowing. Which one is it?
Yeah, sure.
Sure to which one?
He's all knowing.
He's all knowing. Okay. So God is all knowing. Then this book's definitely not from a God, because I know things that the God in this book doesn't know. I know more about human anatomy than your God allegedly knows. For example, are you aware about what percentage of women do not bleed the first time they have sex?
Mm-mm.
It's like 48%. 48% of women do not bleed the first time they have sex. Do you think your God knows this?
I wouldn't know because I'm not him.
Well, if he's all knowing, then he has to know it, right? That's what all knowing means. Okay, so God does know this. Okay. Then we have a law in the Bible where God tells us that if a woman doesn't bleed the first time she has sex, it means she's not a virgin and she should be put to death. But that's evidently not true, as you can be a virgin and not bleed the first time you have sex. Why doesn't your God know this?
I don't know how I don't know.
But
the Bible wasn't written by God, though.
Oh, so it's not from the book's not from God. Okay.
No, it's written from experiences with God.
Well, why should
Jesus, Matthew, John?
Why should I think that this book is written by people who had real experiences with God?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Why should I believe that this book is written by people who had real experiences with an actual God?
Because there is proof.
What's the proof?
That's fine. Let's see. Let's go to Matthew.
Yeah, Matthew. Matthew chapter what?
The proof was in Matthew all this time?
No, it's from April.
Matthew chapter what? I got it up on the screen.
I know. I got to get to Matthew. Hold on.
Well, yeah, so just tell me where it is so I can pull it to it too. Or you don't know where it's at. If you just tell me what the story is, I can probably find it.
This is a different Bible. So it's not there. 1 second. Go to 310.
Don't forget YouTube doesn't like this, Stalton.
YouTube doesn't care about Jeopardy music.
Oh, I thought you said it did. I apologize.
Yeah. Matthew chapter 3, verse 10. Let's see how Matthew 3:10 proves that people had real experiences with God. Even now, the axe is lying at the root of the trees. Therefore, every tree that does
I said
not...
310. I meant 311. My bad.
I baptize you with water for repentance, but the one who is coming after me is more powerful than I. I am not worthy to carry his sandals. He will baptize you with the Holy Spirit and fire. Okay, why should I think that this is a real quote from John the Baptist?
Okay, what evidence do you have that it's not?
Well, we have good reasons to believe that these books are not historically accurate. They make up things about Jesus all the time.
Can you tell me that?
Yeah, for example, like the birth narrative of Jesus. Do you affirm that Jesus was born during the reign of King Herod the Great?
Yeah.
Okay, did Herod murder every baby in Bethlehem 2 years old and under?
I don't remember.
That's Gospel of Matthew chapter 2.
Okay. I don't remember reading that.
Here, I'll pull it up.
Yes.
Matthew chapter 2.
Thank you.
Let's see. When Herod saw that he had been tricked by the Magi, he was infuriated, and he sent and killed all the children in and around Bethlehem who were 2 years old or under, according to the time that he had learned from the Magi. Killing all the babies in Bethlehem. You think this happened?
It could have, yeah.
How come we have zero historical records of this happening? Like, for example, we have the works of Flavius Josephus, and Josephus writes for chapter after chapter after chapter about the Herods, including all the horrible shit they did. Why is it that he fails to mention that, oh yeah, also Herod like murdered every baby in Bethlehem?
We have no archaeological evidence. You would expect to see bones. You would expect to see like mass burial sites. We have none of that as well.
Oh yeah, you would expect to see tons of burial sites for infants in that region, but we don't.
Well, how do we know that they were buried?
What do you think? They just they shot them out of a cannon into the ocean? That's how Jewish people dealt with their. That's how Jewish people dealt with their dead. They buried them. You have to, or else the land is cursed, according to the Torah of Moses. You have to bury the dead.
You obviously know more than I do.
Yeah. So it seems like we have no evidence that Herod actually killed all the babies in Bethlehem. It looks like Matthew made up this story, and he did so for a particular reason. He wants Jesus to look like he's like a new Moses. Like Moses in the original story, Pharaoh tries to kill all the baby Israelite boys. And so the author of Matthew wants Jesus to look like the new Moses, so he has a similar thing happen to Jesus. But it looks like we have no evidence for this happening. So I have no reason to think, I don't trust these gospels to tell me true things about Jesus. I don't trust the gospels to be accurately retelling me what John the Baptist said about Jesus.
Okay. Very interesting. Okay, what would be another standpoint that you don't believe it in? Let's try that.
Another thing, I don't believe in fairies.
You said what?
Fairies. I don't believe in fairies.
Fairies?
Yeah.
How would God be a fairy or anything else?
Well, you didn't ask me about God. You asked me another standpoint I don't believe in. I don't believe. So
Well, for the Christianity.
I don't believe that Jesus resurrected from the dead. I don't think he did magic. I don't think he was the Messiah, because no one's giving me a reason to think so.
I don't think if you go by this text that God is good and or
That's-
Jesus were good people.
Yeah.
I don't think that he was pro woman.
What do you mean by pro woman?
Like
I think that the text is misogynistic as fuck.
like the text treats women as if they're property, which is not cool.
Well, back then, more of the standpoint, women didn't really have rights for back then.
Wait,
But these are the laws of God.
in there.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, in the laws of God.
The law is the law of God not God's law? Is it not
Yes.
thus saith the Lord?
Is it not holy, just, and good?
Holy what?
Just and good. Or as the Psalm puts it,
Just and good or just good?
Holy, just, and good. Like just as in like full of justice.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear that much. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Then why is it that God treats women like property?
For that standpoint, I would think that he made Adam first, or
In one version of this, in one version of the story, in Genesis 1, they're made together.
Not only this, does the order of something mean that I'm like less than? And also, that's a contradiction with science. It's very likely that, for example, you have nipples, I have nipples. You still have that factor in embryonic development. Like, if we're going to play the chicken and the egg argument, women were actually technically created first, according to evolution. So no. That is not true. Also, it wouldn't matter because those child pains were already there. He already seemingly doesn't like us and made something painful. He blames us despite lying in Genesis. then appropriates us as property in Exodus 20:17, and then it goes on to sell us to our rapist according to his own law. So, and then continues on. Pseudo Paul is what I like to say in Timothy. Apparently, we're only saved through childbearing, and that we should remain silent and submissive. So, I don't see a good case in neither the Old Testament or the New Testament that God actually gives a fuck about women.
Interesting. I wouldn't know how to argue with that point, as I haven't gone into that. And how
much of
won this debate?
How much of this Bible have you read?
I've read about 3/4 of it. I haven't read the full thing yet, but I also just converted to Christianity, so I'm just trying to get into it.
Well,
trying to get into debates with it.
Well, maybe you're not too far into it that you like be sucked in and you won't be able to like save yourself. Just read this whole book from beginning to end first before you like decide that you want to worship this God.
Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate you.
All right. Have a good
I'll
day.
definitely ask my people about it.
All right.
Thank you.
You're very respectful, actually.
By the way, where'd all my guests go? Ashlyn and everyone disappeared. If you were just requesting up, request up again, because for some reason, like literally everyone on TikTok just fucking disappeared for a second. That was weird.
That was really weird.
Yeah, everyone, if you were in the request box, request back up again. By the way, these are 2 real quotes from 2 callers tonight. Quote number 1, you've obviously won. Quote number 2, I guess you won this debate. I don't need this for my ego. All right. We're going to bring up the Psalmist Solomon. Psalmist Solomon, I'm going to ask you 3 questions, and then we'll get to the topics. Are you at least 18?
Hey, good night. Yeah, I'm 36.
And what pronouns do you go by?
He, him.
And are you a Christian?
Yes, I am a strong believer. I am.
All right, I'm Dalton, the Bible guy. This is Ashland. Which one of the 3 topics, the Bible is bullshit, Christianity is false, Jesus is dead, would you like to talk to us about?
I would like to talk about the existence of God, that God is real.
I apologize. Could you move closer to your mic by any chance?
Sure.
Also,
hearing me now? Claire? Hearing me, Claire?
I think that we might just have to deal with that. Also, is English
fine?
Yeah, it's just a little low to me in the chat said so. That's actually a little better. Yeah. Second, is English not your first language?
Sorry, it is. Yes,
is English? It is. Okay, you said good night, so I was a little confused. I just want to make sure because sometimes there's a gap in language, and I want to make sure that if there isn't an English as the first language, sometimes words get mistranslated. But yeah, I apologize.
So, which one of the topics did you want to talk to us about?
That exists. There must be a creator.
There must be why must there be a creator?
Because we exist. Things exist in the universe.
All right. I do grant you that things do exist and that we exist, but why does that lead me to believe that there must be a God?
Okay, I believe, and my belief doesn't matter, right? So I will be respectful to your points, that everything that exists has a purpose.
I don't know that to be true. I know that I don't. I don't think, like, for example, there are like, for example, sometimes we'll have animals, including humans, that will like get pregnant, and then sometimes these pregnancies, they don't like come to fruition. The fetus miscarries and dies, and nothing ever became of it. Especially for animals, like there's literally no purpose to this whatsoever. I accept that everything has a cause, but I do not have any reason to think that everything has like a built-in purpose.
Okay, so let's look at basic logic. So male and female exist. Can we agree?
In some animals, yes.
Yes. And we can say that it is for procreation in life, for life to continue.
Well, for some animals, there are some animals that don't need sex or like male and female in order to reproduce.
I agree. Nevertheless, we can still say overall that the two sexes
Wait,
must
what
coexist
percent?
to
Wait,
pro-life.
real quick. What percentage of biological organisms on the planet do you think reproduce through sex?
I think that this honestly is getting to a bigger issue that I would have in my understanding of biology. It's not the major thing that I studied, but I think that there's actually a bigger question to this in that how evolution works and how we have evidence for things. There are things like behaviors that exist, for example, that don't have any purpose at all. Your parents just survived long enough to reproduce. Some of them are neutral, not providing to you continuing life and not taking away from that. And in fact, I would say that in this statement, there are a lot of things that actually make it more difficult for reproductions that are byproducts of things that are actually existing. For example, I don't think schizophrenia has a purpose. I think it's just a byproduct of mutations that happen along with environmental factors.
Okay, so what I'm getting at you all, I'm seeing that you all are saying that even though things exist, there are things that can, what you would counteract the reason for existence. For instance, you give an example.
Yeah, I would say that providing the evidence that 99.9999 so on and so forth of species have ceased to exist on this planet, that it's actually counterintuitive to say that everything has a purpose and a biological thing to show that existence is necessary in this function. I would say that this environment is actually trying to kill us more than it's trying to let us survive.
Fine, but okay, I will ask a question though. But do you believe that procreation exists so that life can continue?
No. There's no purpose to this. I wouldn't say that evolution has some sort of mind and it's driven to do this thing. It just happens to be the case that this is how molecules interact with each other, and this is the natural byproduct of such.
The problem with the problem with the idea of purpose is that purpose is given by an agent, and in order for objects to have purpose, there needs to be some sort of ultimate being that is giving them purpose. But if we don't have evidence for said being, then objects don't have purpose. They have functions, and some of those functions are some of those times it's beneficial, other times it's non-beneficial. And the beneficial ones survive and the non-beneficial ones die out. But in order for there to be purpose, there needs to be like a purpose giver, and we don't have evidence for that.
So if I see a female and I know that she exists to carry forth my seed, or let me use the word,
that is not why women. A woman does not exist to carry yours. No, a woman does not. That's very sexist. Women don't exist to carry your seed. No, they don't exist just to carry your seed. Seriously.
Hey, I exist. I exist to do the thing. You literally said that. You said women. If I see a woman and she exists to carry my seed.
I know that you all are very educated to know what I'm saying. Come on, I know that you all are educated.
But okay, yeah, sure. I grant you that. Yeah, but just watch your wording. But no.
There are certain biological features of women, of cisgendered women that are capable of reproduction using a cisgendered man's seed. That's what we can say. But purpose, again, the problem with saying purpose is that purpose needs, you have to demonstrate that there's a purpose giver before purpose can be established.
Okay, so if I say that the man was created for the woman and the woman was created for the man, what would you say about such a statement?
You would have to prove that there's a creator. Otherwise, you would have to prove that there's a creator. Otherwise, we weren't created. Again, the word created implies a creator. It implies intention. And so if there's not a creator, then we're not created. You're putting the cart before the horse.
Also, if hold on, let's just separate that and also look at factors in just reality right now. Why is it if the man and woman were created for each other, right? We should be able to give a substantial amount of information that would say that the man helps the woman and the woman helps the man. But why is it the case that upon pregnancy, the number one unaliver or murdering of women is that of men? So if they were truly, there was a purpose, then why is it the fact that I have evidence otherwise that men are of a harm to women, and like when we look at the like minus disease, other accidental and factors such as this, like or just like homicide, I wouldn't expect to see this if there was a creator that designed this purpose. And then that there's suffering involved, that if we're created for each other, we wouldn't have relationship problems. You wouldn't expect to see the amount of disproportion of equality that exists between the two. I mean, there are so many factors involved. You wouldn't expect to see so many single mothers. Your argument, when looking at the real world, does not make sense.
So you are saying that because of circumstances that my argument would not make sense.
It wouldn't be expected.
Okay, so let's go to a quick realistic question. Everyone that is listening to me on this live right now has a mother and father. Is that true?
But some of those are formed out of unconsensual contact. If we were created for each other, you might say that it's like the ultimate goal, if there was one of it, may be survival to reproduction. And I don't think that that's the issue in this. Is that when you involve this sort of purpose that involves a mind, that we were made for each other and therefore it's ultimately good, I wouldn't expect to see the things that I see, that there's a slight difference in this. I think that you're right if it is the case that women and men are required to reproduce and gain reproduction in order to have a succession of their own genetic information, then sure, that essay makes sense, but that's agreeing with evolution. That's not agreeing with the creator.
And that is not purpose. And that is not purpose.
Is not purpose, that is function.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a difference between purpose and function, guest. Again, in order for it to be purpose, there needs to be a purpose giver. You need to demonstrate that a purpose giver exists before function can become purpose. Are you able to demonstrate the existence of a purpose giver?
Well, I did. I believe that I was created for the woman and the woman was created for me. But
what is the evidence that you were created, as opposed to like that you were just naturally formed through like natural processes?
I gave you counter evidence to this too. What are you talking about?
Was it good evidence? Like,
it was good evidence.
The overwhelming data on what would be expected if I was created for you and you were created for me in a man and woman relationship, we wouldn't see the amount of harm done to women on a global fucking scale, because it would be the case that we would understand each other, but we don't. We wouldn't need divorce wouldn't be so high.
We were not created for each other.
Correct.
That's what you say.
Also, you can't be created for anything if a creator does not exist. You need to demonstrate that a creator exists before you can be called a created thing. Do you understand? You keep putting the cart before the horse. You don't get to claim creation until a creator exists.
I'm going to bring one more angle because I know we have other people that would like to go up. Let's talk about the clouds, right? The clouds of the sky. So,
okay.
Yes. We already know science. We know evaporation.
Yep.
Right? We know how the solar system works.
The rain cycle.
Right, good. Without water, we cannot survive. No living organism, well, the majority of living organisms cannot
luckily,
survive.
Water existed on the planet before humans ever were around. This is... you realize that it's not that like Yeah, if all water just suddenly disappeared on the planet, human beings would die, mostly because we're also made of water, partially made of water. So yeah, of course, if you magically disappeared all the water on the planet, we would die. What does this have to do with there's a God?
Not only
I'm
this,
talking
this is
about
just an argument from ignorance because we only have evidence for the fact that life needs water to survive. We have no idea if life can exist without water. It does not give an argument for God. It just questions why we have so much water here.
Well, we are talking about the clouds, right? We obviously know that the clouds exist to bring forth water on earth.
Well,
right?
they don't.
Areas that do
Again, that language you're using, they exist to bring forth water. It is implying that purpose to them instead of function. We can just say instead, clouds exist and they produce water, not clouds exist to produce water. That's purpose thinking again.
It's physics and chemistry. That's just naturally how things exist. And the reason why we know it's a natural and how things exist is because that's just what we observe. Adding God or anything else attached to this is not evidence for God. It's just you slapping God on something that we already know how it operates and saying, well, it must be the case. I think the puddle analogy is probably the best analogy for this. Dalton, you want to take the puddle analogy?
Yeah.
You're really good at saying it.
There was
I have one more.
There was an author by the name of Douglas Adams, author of the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. He made this beautiful analogy. It's called the puddle analogy. Imagine there's a pothole and one day it rains and the pothole is filled with water. And the water one day wakes up and says, look at this hole that I'm sitting in. It's so perfectly fitted to me. It obviously was made for me. But what the problem that the puddle has here is that it's assuming that the pothole was made for it, as opposed to the pothole existed first and it just filled and conformed to the hole. In the same way, you might look at the world and go, wow, the world looks like it's so perfectly made for us, but it's actually not the case. The world existed before human beings were ever around. The world existed first, and we, as well as every other biological organism on the planet, evolved to survive on this planet. We conformed to the planet, not the planet made for us.
Okay, so I just have one last realistic topic. And it's good that I'm having this conversation because I'm also learning how you all see it. You know, I respect people's views. Every day that we live on this earth, one of my fear is to die. And it is a reality.
Yeah.
I have 2 children and I know that I'm going to die. I ask myself every day, and I want everyone to hear this. Let's put aside religion. Was I created in this time,
No.
2026, to exist with reason, with knowledge? All of us have it. We are reasoning now.
You weren't created.
We are asking questions. Right. No. I'm going to go your way. So when I die, that's it. Like, so I exist only for this 21st century.
Yeah.
To just be deleted for eternity. Does that really make sense? You ever think about it?
Yeah,
You
it does make sense.
exist right now.
Yeah,
You
it makes
and I are
sense.
talking.
It makes sense. Like
So-
I there's a time when I didn't exist, and then through a biological process, sexual intercourse, I was made. I formed and I developed like the brain that was able to have mental sentience and therefore an ability to experience the world around me. My brain is a biological machine and it will eventually give out one day. And since my brain is the way that I experience the world in the way in which I have sentience and consciousness, if that thing gives out, then the ability to do all that would go with it. So yeah, it does make sense.
I also have a question. I have a question to this. Does it make sense that a god would put us on a planet with an immense amount of suffering and then is like, well, y'all fucked up. Some of you, by the way, for no control of your own, go to hell, are tortured for all eternity. But some of you have this place called heaven or some sort of afterlife. I think, one, you're adding a lot more, which Occam's razor would dictate that R stands first. And then the second would be that you have a lot, like Lucy, some explaining to do about what this heaven is, why it exists. to me, yeah, one is more simple. One follows our path of observation, our novel predictions, and we absolutely can say that just at the end, we don't know what happens after that, where you have no evidence for the outcome. And by the way, when I ask 100, or 100 million different people, this outcome can change. And it just seems to me that the rationale behind that is you're just making it up because it's hard to cope with death.
Okay, so can I ask you a question? Do you believe after I die and my human flesh goes back to Earth, there's no place I'm going at all?
Well,
I don't know, but the evidence would suggest such.
yeah, I mean,
I like the answer.
the only thing that will be the only thing left of you will be your carcass, and therefore where you go will be wherever your loved ones decide to bury you.
The problem that I have with that is our neurochemistry, right? Everything that we know about what we're experiencing changes if we change our brain chemistry, whether it's from a drug usage, whether it's from a lobotomy, whether it's from any of that. Like I can just say I ablate a part of a person's mind, I can change fundamentally like what philosophy would call qualia and who they are by this simple action. We have tons of evidence to suggest us. So I don't have an evidence of a soul or something that exists outside the mind that is the brain.
Well, I want to thank you all for educating me on how you all think, and I would leave with this. I refuse, yes, I'm ignorant. I refuse to believe that we as human beings, because I can tell that you all are educated, I'm not flattering you all. We have so much of knowledge and reasoning, and we are just crumbs of flesh with so much of knowledge to exist one time only for a few years.
That sounds
never
like
to exist.
I'll leave you with this psalmist. And I'll leave you with this psalmist. You need to check your ego. You're not that. You need to humble yourself and realize where your place in the world is. That's it.
Well, also too. Hold on,
what I'm saying.
Remember, it was less than. We had the Salem witch trials less than 300 years ago. How quickly information in our knowledge is exponential. And it looks like this really fucking steep curve. And the exponential, I encourage you to look this up on information and how much we have. There are certain breaks like technology where we're able to communicate with each other, and how that bridged this exponential series of knowledge is very interesting. And I get why you come to this conclusion. I don't think that you're dumb for this conclusion, but I think that you're just unaware of how in the past 50 to 100 years, knowledge in our communication have increased in how we have learned. Think of when the invention of penicillin was, when insulin was existed, and then when the fax machine was, and books, and the spread of knowledge, and how this came about. Because prior to that, it was upon independent tribes that they left. But we can look at this, and there's quite a great explanation for how all of a sudden science, where it's still lacking because we're still getting this field together, and how to share data and why that data is spread. I actually have a couple friends in this field on sharing medical data, and they're data scientists on this, and it is quite fascinating. Yeah. Sorry for my... Sorry, I went on a little long.
Hello, just a reminder to everyone on YouTube that if you're on YouTube, you can call in at tinyurl.com/BG Show Discord. If you're a Christian, you'd like to call in. We now have a Discord where you can call in from the YouTube side of things. Now we have a few guests on TikTok. The order of guests that we will be talking to are in this order. So just so you know where you are in place, the cake is a lie 72, followed by Johnny Fitness, then Jared, and then JC FXD. So first we're going to bring up the cake is a lie. The cake is a lie. I'm going to ask you. Oh, by the way, the quote for the last guest is going to be "Women exist to carry my seed." All right. The cake is a lie. I'm going to ask you 3 preliminary questions, and after we read talk to the cake is a lie, I'll read some super chats. The cake. Are you at least 18 years old?
Yes, I apologize. I'm downing a mouthful of chicken right now.
All right, just make sure you
can come up.
Just
I am over 18.
All right, just make sure you're no longer eating until the end of this call. Okay, because misophobia and it's
Yeah, I'm done. I'm done. Sorry about that.
Yeah,
No, sorry. I was literally just.
Yeah, and what pronouns do you go by?
Sorry. He, him. Him. Sorry. I apologize. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Oh, thank you for the cowboy hat. And are you a Christian?
I am not a Christian. No. I've listened to a couple of. I actually haven't listened to your lives before, but I've seen you on other lives, and I wanted to come up and talk about an actual productive event that happened in my day today.
Well, this sounds more like a call for office hours, and we do office hours at the end of our show, and you're more than welcome to call in at that time. But we're only doing opposition right now, and if I let you stay up for too long, it'll be unfair to the other people that I do not let come up. So you're feel free to call in.
Fair enough. If that's the case. If that's the case.
Yeah. Feel free to call in at the end of the show. Johnny Fitness is next. Johnny Fitness, are you at least 18 years old? Johnny.
Go ahead.
Are you at least 18 years old?
I'm way over 18.
And what pronouns do you go by?
Listen, I'm not going to argue with your nonsense.
Yeah, okay.
All
Then
I
just
gotta
then,
say is
oh wait,
God-
if you're not going to argue with it, just
No.
tell. Wait, we don't get to. No, you don't. You're not. This is not the Johnny Fitness show. So you have to answer my 3 questions, and then we can get to whatever you want to talk about. And if you don't want to fight with me on it, just answer the question. What pronouns do you go by? It's really easy.
You better check your heart. You better check your.
I will make sure to go to the doctor and get like a cardiology exam or whatever. Now, what pronouns do you go by? Watch this. Ashlyn, what pronouns do you go by?
Oh, she, her. I identify as a cisgender woman. Johnny, also, would it bother you if I was a part of this conversation? You can unmute. It's like at the bottom next to the chat. Or you can like click on your screen. Both viable options.
I'm not going to argue with your nonsense.
Okay, then just tell me
Okay.
your yeah, you don't have to argue. Just tell us what the pronouns are, and then we don't have to argue about it.
All I'm going to say is God.
No, you're not going to say anything other than your pronouns. Like this isn't your show. You don't get to preach and not answer my questions. So I'll give you one more chance to answer the question, and you can either answer the question and we can have a conversation like adults, or I can just drop you and move on to someone else. I know you waited for a long
You're
time.
going to have heart issues.
Okay, if you say so, I'll make sure to check with my doctor soon. Anyways, Jared is coming up next. Jared, are you at least 18 years old?
Hey, what's up? Yeah, I'm 18.
And what pronouns do you go by?
I'm a male.
Male is not a pronoun in the English language.
Just a question.
I don't
Is
have
like
pronouns.
is your genitalia what makes you a man or a woman? Like what's in between your legs?
Yes. I have a penis.
Cool. Then I was
so
your
I'm a male.
cool. Well, I had your dad's penis between my legs last night, so I'm your dad.
But on the real note, we all know that male isn't actually a pronoun. So what pronouns do you go by?
I'm a male, so I mean I don't go by any pronouns.
That's a lie. You just used a pronoun. You used a pronoun. You said I don't go by any pronouns. I is a first person pronoun. But what third person pronoun do you go by?
Males and females, so
I didn't. But if I asked you about sex, that would have been great. That would have been a great answer if I would have asked you about sex. But I didn't ask you about sex. I asked you about your gender or your pronouns. What pronouns do you go by?
Okay, are we here to debate? Are we here to debate that, or are we
I mean, hopefully we can get to the debate about God. But in order to get to the debate about God, I have to know that you're honest or you're smart enough to have the conversation. And the way that I test that is whether or not you're able to answer these 3 simple questions. The question number 2: what pronouns do you go by?
Why does that matter?
It matters. It's a test, and you're failing. So What pronouns do you go by? We could have already gotten to the conversation if you had just answered. So what pronouns do you go by?
Again, I'm a male.
Male's
Okay,
not a,
so-
wait, a question.
Hey,
Is male a pronoun in the English language, yes or no?
I'm not here to debate.
It's not a debate. It's not, I don't care if you don't care. This is my show. You have to answer these 3 questions or else you don't get to talk to me. Do you want to
Okay,
have
I
a
want to move on to the
Well,
topic
okay,
of
if you
God.
want to move on to the topic of God, you have to answer the questions. So what pronouns do you go by?
My sex is male.
I didn't
just
ask.
told-
Wait. Did I see that? This is what. So this is the problem, Jared. Is that I don't know how productive this conversation is going to be if I ask you a question and then you give me the answer to a question I didn't ask you. So I didn't ask you what your sex was. I asked you what pronouns you go by. If you're not capable of answering this simple question, I don't have confidence that you'd be able to answer any other questions that actually relate to the topic of God. Again, we could have already been in the conversation about God if you would just have answered the question. It's not hard.
Jared, does God have a dick?
Yeah, if you want to talk about God so much, does God have a dick? Is God a biological male? You have to unmute yourself, Jared.
Jared,
What was your question
no,
again?
does God have a dick?
Yeah, does God have a dick? Is he a biological male?
I don't believe he's male or female. I believe he's
Okay,
a being.
You call him a he, though. So obviously you understand that pronouns aren't connected to your dick.
call him God.
Well, no, you just did call him a he. You did. We all heard it. Now that you know that pronouns have nothing to do
I'm here to
with
debate
what's
the existence.
Yeah, and that's great. And we can totally get to the topic of God's existence, but we can't get to that conversation if you can't get past the simple barrier. And this will be the last opportunity you have to answer the question. Otherwise, I will just move on to the next
So
guest.
if I don't answer what
That is
pronouns
correct.
I am, I can't
That is
debate you with about
correct.
God.
Correct.
Why?
Because I'm the host of the show and this is my rules. So are you going to answer the question? Yes or no?
So I have to have pronouns. I have to have pronouns
Yes.
to debate you.
Yes. And this is the last opportunity. What pronouns do you go by?
Well, I don't believe any Christian really goes.
You're incorrect. There are plenty of Christians who have pronouns, including you. You just think they make you gay, and I guess your God's gay. All right. Man, I really would love to get to a conversation, but man, just too many dishonest people. It's crazy. I got some super chats here. At Bayesian Boy with the $5. Thank you for your donation. No, thank you for your donation. And at Flash Perez with the $9.99, sending positive energy your way. Positive energy received. Thank you so much, Flash Perez. And at Cheese Mondo with the $9.99. How can a caller go from women are for carrying my seed to let's talk about clouds? What a wild ride. Peace, love, and pizza. Yeah, that was that's the thing. When you have bad talking points, they generally do jump from one talking point to the other in rapid succession. Oh,
They knew nothing about the subject, and I do give them a W for being honest. I think we should. People can't help but be indoctrinated. I do. I don't always fulfill this, but I do think we should be a little kind.
Wait a minute. If I insist that people, here's a good question. User says, I'm going to report you for bullying. Well, bully for you. It's not bullying to have people use the English language. If someone doesn't recognize English grammar and I correct them, that's not bullying. You're just a snowflake is all that you are. But anyways, we're going to do a quick restart on TikTok. We've been on for an hour and a half. We'll do a quick restart on TikTok, and then we will be getting back to the conversation. Hopefully, we can get some honest interlocutors to come up, people who can answer simple questions. What?
Before you restart, how many people were requesting when a woman was speaking, and now all of a sudden you're speaking? Like everyone dropped down.
Weird, and yet they never want to hear you talk.
I don't think They don't. I'm not saying that it is the case, but I wouldn't say that there is a more probabilistic thing. Like Christianity shows misogyny, so they like want to come up and correct. And then when we move from the topic and like put a boundary down, I think it's an interesting correlation. I'm not going to say it's causation.
Johnny says hearth issues ahead. Like there's a problem with my fireplace in my house. That's what a hearth is. What a weird thing. Anyways, we're gonna do a quick restart, and we'll see you all in just a hot second. So far, I got a couple of good calls in today. Rooted Reason, Plink, Toxel, Psalmist, Solomon, Jared. Well, not Jared. Jared didn't get to go on the list. I think the funnest thing to do now, instead of just putting in this little thing right here, what the conversation was about, putting one of the quotes from them in the conversation is really fun, because I get to go back and read and see. I'm like, oh, I wonder what this comment was about. Women exist to carry my seed. This should be interesting. Don't forget, if you're on the YouTube side of things, that you can call into the show at tinyurl.com/BG Show Discord. If you go down to the description of the YouTube video, you will see a link to the Discord, and you can call on in. And if you go down to Bible Guy Call In Studio, there you will see that you can call into the show and we can have a conversation. And also, everyone, let me know whether or not you're having a good day. I'm having a great day. Guess what, guys? We are now. Let me take a look at my calendar. Yes, we are 14 days until the release of the Blood of Dawnwalker game, and I am so excited. It's
Are you gonna?
What?
Sorry. Are you gonna be in the line?
I am going to be on the line. Not this upcoming Saturday, but the Saturday after, the last Saturday of this month, I will be on. I will be on the line with. Let me see who I think I'm. I think I'm going to be hosting with Thinker. Let me take a look. My schedule.
I wonder if I'm able to, like I have on your Discord, connect when and give out live notification. I don't know that I am for you specifically on the line, but I can try and see if that's a possibility to send to our Discord audience.
Yeah, that'd be cool. We love the line. I mean, it would probably go off for every time the Deep Angelical show goes off.
I don't want to do that. If I can do it to where it's just you on that, I don't know that I can. But I can definitely look into it. There's like 50 other things that I have going on too. So
don't even worry about it. It's not that important. St. Brown says, Dalton, I started romancing Shadowheart for the first time ever, and I actually like her. Oh yeah, Shadowheart's the goth baddie of the group.
So sassy.
Yeah,
so sassy.
God's favorite princess, as she's called. Yeah, love that. Good for you. Have fun with that. Yeah, the last character I romanced on Baldur's Gate, I was playing as a dwarf, or not a dwarf. I was playing as a halfling, and I romanced Karlach, and like my character's number one goal in that game was to climb that mountain.
Hey, Brianna, Lae'zel is a brute. I think that Shadowheart is sassy. Lae'zel's just brute.
I'll tell you this: the best romance scene of all the romanceable companions in Baldur's Gate 3 is the romance scene with Minthara. That one's pretty good.
But by the way, Dalton just did this, didn't tell me when we were playing, and just like took this over. Dalton's selfish.
Took what? Did what?
Mizara's romance.
Minthara.
Didn't even tell me Minthara.
Yeah, you tried to romance her. It didn't work. She was like, "Nah, I want Bible Guy." Johnny Fitness, who has no good point, says God's wrath is God's. Here, let me actually get my Johnny voice going. Let me see. Where's my Johnny voice? Here it is.
Lazel
God's,
is a oh, sorry.
God's wrath is on you, a hardened heart. Actually,
Let me check real quick. 1 second. No, my heart's still pretty soft as it's capable of beating, so not hard at all. Johnny Shitness is funny. Johnny Shitness. That's good shit. This God marker.
You're a little young for calcium deposits, arterial calcium deposits to harden. There's no plaque.
It's so weird. These Christians keep telling me God will not be mocked, and yet I mock him all the time. So clearly he will be. Your blood pressure must be sky high. No, I'm pretty chill right now. I'm sure you sound like your blood pressure was pretty high. You were really flipping out in the last live, Johnny Shitness.
If you're into fitness, it's like the thing about fitness is that in order to
fitness
be
dick in your mouth,
like in order to be fit, you have to have a high blood pressure because that's what working out entails.
Quantanaut says, "Who hardened Pharaoh's heart again?" That's a good point. If my heart is hardened, it's because your God did it. And if I end up in hell for having a hard heart, that is 100% on your God. So, ball's in his court. If he wants me to have a not hard heart, just tell him to not harden it. Johnny BP is high everywhere but there. Johnny's BP is high everywhere but there. Okay, yeah. For sure. Anyways, everyone make sure you tap in that screen. Request on up if you're a Christian who would like to try to defend your faith. I am Dalton the Bible Guy. I'm an atheist. I'm not quite convinced that the Bible is true or that Christianity is true. But maybe you have what you think is a really good argument. And maybe you can come up here and give that argument and maybe I'll be presented. But we have here Oz, the great and powerful. Oz, I'm going to ask you 3 preliminary questions and then we'll get to the conversation, hopefully. Are you at least 18 years old?
Yeah.
And what pronouns do you go by?
Dude, come on.
Yeah, come on. What pronouns do you go by?
I mean, I'm obviously a guy.
Well, guy's not a pronoun. As a guy, what pronouns do you use?
Him.
All right, fantastic. Look how easy that was, everyone. And then, are you a Christian?
Yeah.
Could you speak up a little bit? You're a bit someone for retreated. I need you to be a bit more, in the conversation. So
could you enunciate?
Yeah, no mumbling. So I'm Dalton the Bible Guy. This is the Bible Guy call-in show. Which one of the topics on the board would you like to talk to us about?
Well, I'm interested in all of them, but
you sound bummed out, bud. You okay?
I'm just the way that I talk. I don't know.
Anyway,
but I'm interested in number 3.
Number 3, Jesus is dead. Yeah, I think Jesus is dead because humans. I don't have any evidence that humans can live to be 2,000 years old. It's been 2,000 years since Jesus was alive, so I think he's probably dead. Unless you can give me a reason to think otherwise.
Yeah, the Bible, dude.
Okay, why should I believe the Bible?
Well, because most, professionals, I guess, people that study history, historians.
Watch out.
Anybody in regards to those sort of professions kind of agree that Christ did live, and if it's the fact that Christ.
I agree that Jesus lived. But
and then it would follow that he was God. And God ruled forever.
Whoa. So Apollonius of Tyana lived. It doesn't follow that he was the son of Zeus. In the same way, Jesus of Nazareth lived. Yeah, neither is Yahweh, as far as I can tell.
Oh, Yahweh is Christ, but
no, I don't. No,
Do you mind, Oz, when you say that it would follow, can you give us like motivation for that? Because like if I said that it would follow that because my lamp is blue that all lamps are blue, that obviously wouldn't follow. I'd have to give further argumentation for that. So are you able to do that?
Yeah, I would love to see the line of reasoning to get to that conclusion. So
yeah, I mean, if you accept who Christ is, like most historians do, Christ being the Son of God.
Whoa. Most historians do not accept that. Christians accept that position, but the vast majority within scholarship don't just take it to be the case that Jesus was the Messiah and the Son of God. I would need motivation for that.
Then explain to me
That's
how
also
you rose from the
circular.
dead.
That's circular logic, but by definition, you're saying it is the case that because the text says so, and this follows that therefore it is the case, and historians say so, so therefore it is the case. But you have not given any argumentation on what historians say or anything else. You've just said that historians do this. It's just another claim. It is not an argument. So can you give the rationale behind it? That's not what I'm asking for. It could be the case that everybody in the world accept this to be true. It does not make the claim true, right?
That's because you're misunderstanding what I'm saying.
Okay, here.
So what's the argument?
Yeah, give the argument that Jesus is the Messiah. Like, I don't think he's the Messiah because he didn't fulfill any prophecies that are particular to the Messiah from the Old Testament. What argument do you have for him being the Messiah other than arguments from authority?
Well, I mean, there are a bunch of evidence to show that Christ is.
Yeah, let's go. Okay, let's go. Evidence number. Let's go with the evidence. What is the evidence that Jesus is Yahweh? Because I don't even think the Gospels make this claim.
Well, one evidence that would show Christ as God, for example, would be him resurrecting from the dead.
Well, that doesn't follow. Did Lazarus resurrect from the dead?
Not by his own powers, though. That's the difference.
So, okay, but who's to say that Jesus just didn't receive this power from God? It doesn't like Jesus resurrecting from the dead doesn't necessitate. Well, also, you would need to substantiate that he resurrected from the dead. I don't take that to be the case. But even if he did, that it wouldn't necessarily follow that he was God. It could just be that he has received authority from God to do these things, as he himself has stated in the Gospels that he has received authority. So why should I think that first and foremost that Jesus even resurrected?
Well, the first one would be weird to disagree with because the fact remains most historians do agree with this.
Incorrect. Incorrect. Show me.
It's just the scientific method.
Show me the evidence that the majority of historians agree that Jesus resurrected from the dead. Go ahead and do that.
Do you want me to find go on Google right now?
How are you going to demonstrate that claim? It's insane.
Dude, just ChatGPT it. Look at
ChatGPT it. Okay. All right. What? Okay. Do most historians believe Jesus was God? No, most historians do not believe as a historical conclusion that Jesus was God. Wow, look at that. It's crazy.
No, hold on. There's a problem though. Because if
the problem is that you haven't conditioned your ChatGPT like I have conditioned mine to be a Christian.
I'm not a biased person.
What's your? Yes, you are. Every person is biased.
I'm not biased.
Everyone's biased.
Everyone's biased. I included
you
bias.
Could believe
That's
that
why
for
we're.
Yourself.
No. That's what the evidence suggests in psychology. What is the argument? I don't know what you're not understanding this. What is the argument for your claim? Don't just keep making more claims. What is the argument that Jesus is God?
Well,
let's start with that one.
You're misunderstanding my point. Like, I'm not saying.
I don't care what your point is.
Maybe you should be a more.
What is the argument?
Maybe you should be a more effective communicator. So here, maybe we should present it as a syllogism that proves Jesus is God. So, you think you could do that? Like present it in a syllogism?
Or Dalton, present why you don't think Jesus is God.
Yeah, I don't
to demonstrate the point.
I don't think Jesus is God because one, Jesus never himself makes a claim as being ontologically identical with Yahweh. In fact, makes claims contrary to this point. And on top of that, Jesus didn't fulfill any messianic prophecies. So if he's not the Messiah, he's certainly not God. Also, Jesus just doesn't lies about what's in the Old Testament. So that too.
Again.
Okay, so hold on, Oz. What did Dalton do different from what you did in this conversation? Dalton gave reasoning, not logical fallacies. They gave things that you as a person can just sit there and argue against given data. Like we could look at the Bible, we can look at historical evidence, we can look at different things and then compare and contrast. What you've done is just shifted over to the resurrection and shifted further into appeals. So what is your argument that Jesus is God?
Again, I'm not sure. You just keep on misunderstanding the point that I'm making here.
Then try here. I'll give you one, and then I'll give you another.
I mean, I keep getting every time I try to clarify.
I'll give here. Neither of us will interrupt you. Give us your best evidence that Jesus is God. Go ahead.
Dude, again, I pointed to the resurrection, but if you don't want to go with that,
okay, then
we
prove
could go,
that the resurrection happened.
Yeah, that's easy, dude. Like,
and don't just appeal to it, and just don't appeal to vaguely to a bunch of people. Actually, give the evidence.
Yeah, the Bible. I'm not appealing to a bunch of random people here.
Then the next question is, why should I believe what the Bible says about the resurrection?
Because historians and scholars agree the Bible is historically
That is legitimately circular argumentation.
Yeah, I can actually demonstrate that the Bible is not historically accurate. Wait. I can demonstrate that the Bible is not historically accurate. Would you like me to?
Yeah, go ahead and try.
Yeah. Do you accept the nativity narratives of Matthew and Luke?
But you got to be more specific.
That's extremely specific. So the question: do you being Oz, accept the nativity? Do you know what nativity is? The nativity stories? Is that what the problem is? No. You don't know what nativity stories are? The birth narratives of Jesus.
Oh, you're gonna point to the differences and say no? That's just misunderstandings.
Really? Okay. So let's see where my misunderstanding is. Do you accept the Gospel of Matthew's claim that Jesus was born during the reign of King Herod the Great?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. When did King Herod the Great rule Israel?
Well, whatever date the Bible said.
The Bible doesn't give us a date, so we have to go to history for this fact.
Okay, so we're gonna appeal to some random people that
not random people.
Random dates.
Wait, not random people. Wait, you prove that they're random and prove that they're giving random dates. Prove that these experts in their field are just pulling this information out of their ass. Go ahead and demonstrate that.
Yeah, if it's not in the Bible, then they have no source to pull it from, and they're
well, maybe they have. Maybe the Bible's not the only source that talked about Herod in the ancient world. Have you considered that?
What other source is considered as accurate as the Bible?
More accurate than the Bible. The writings of Flavius Josephus, an actual first century historian. We actually know who he was, unlike the gospel authors who we actually don't know who they are. And we
do know who they are. We
don't know. The gospels are anonymous works. We're not pivoting to that though. Josephus, when any historian worth their salt wants to talk about what happened historically in first century Palestine, our one and only verifiable source on this information is going to be from Flavius Josephus, Yosef ben Matthäus, who was a Jewish historian who lived in first century Palestine, who knew Nicholas Damascus, the court historian of Herod, therefore having access to primary sources on the life of Herod. Yeah, so I'm going to side with. What makes him not credible? Tell me.
Because he's the same writer that talked about the followers of Christ being, like immoral or something.
He never once claimed that. But
yes, Josephus? Yes, he did.
Oh, where in Josephus' writings? Because I'll tell you this: only one passage in all of Josephus talks about the followers of Jesus. So tell us, where does Josephus claim that the followers of Jesus were like immoral?
Dude,
Go ahead.
I haven't read his specific writings. Like,
Wow.
I don't need to.
Oh,
do
wait,
that.
I haven't read. Wait, let me make this clear. Let me make this clear. I made an argument that Josephus said X, Y, and Z, but I haven't read Josephus.
No, I
Interesting.
said, okay.
Interesting.
Such a bad faith
So
argument.
no, the bad faith arguer is the one who makes claims that they are not able to back up. So
Us. You're sitting there saying you haven't studied Josephus, which is fine. We're not going to fault you for that. But when we bring it up and you say, well, Josephus does this, and you say you haven't read the works, like both Dalton and I have the complete writings of Josephus, and we've read a substantial amount of them. You're not giving a case. You're just like sitting there and saying, well, this is the case, but you're literally conceding to the point that
I'm
you
not
haven't.
conceding.
But you've okay. So then name a quotation, name a book, name a passage, because everything Dalton and I are going to say are going to come with context. They're going to come with passages, and they're going to come with evidence related to what we're saying. We're not just speaking out of our ass to defend some dogma. So give us a writing, give us whatever it is that is outside of just making another claim to support what you're saying. That is the problem that we're having with you right
Okay,
now.
and I'm disagreeing with your standards.
I don't
here.
care if you disagree on the standards. You need
Well,
to
I'm sorry,
provide.
but you have a biased standard.
well, no,
That's
you
not how.
listen. We can't take you seriously, Oz, if you're going to make claims about what Josephus said, but you're not even able to you don't know what Josephus said. Like, we shouldn't
I
believe
do
you.
know what he said.
No, you don't, because you made a false claim about Josephus's work. Josephus never once said anything negative about the followers of Jesus.
He absolutely did, dude.
What did he? Here, yeah, go ahead. Look it
Where?
up. Go ahead, look it up. Tell me what negative thing Josephus said about the followers of Jesus. Oh wait, actually, this is embarrassing.
This person, like, I'm very surprised by this individual. Like, I don't know if you claim to know history and are appealing to history and sitting here saying that you've done any of this research, but then also say that you've never read Josephus. Like, you're just contradicting your own words.
While he's doing that, I'm going to pull up the actual quote from Josephus about early Christians, and then we'll compare notes. I have it pulled up already. The one and only quotation from Josephus about Christians. I guarantee you what's actually happened here is that he has mistaken Josephus for another historian. I guarantee you that's what's happened.
Also me owning the complete works of Josephus.
Don't forget, Oz, though, if you're gone for too long, TikTok will think that you're off the app and will just boot you. So don't take too long. Surely a quick Google search should find your answer.
Okay, so here is what it said.
Where's the citation? First things first. Which book of Josephus was it written in?
Well, it's not explicitly he wasn't explicit with it. It's just the connotations.
Okay.
What
So,
book?
yeah, what book?
Assessments made by text.
Wait. Which book from Josephus? First and foremost.
Well, whichever books mentions the Christians, obviously.
Wow. So
Which book?
You have a quotation pulled up. Surely that quotation has a citation.
I just said it's not explicit.
Okay,
I
so
just
you're
said that.
so you're just making shit up. There's only one quote.
Okay, I guess.
There's only.
No,
okay,
you're right.
Here,
Somebody.
You're
Okay.
you're making something up. So there's only one quote from Josephus about Christians, and here it is. It's from Antiquities of the Jews, Book 18, Chapter 3, Paragraph 3. Now there was about this time Jesus, a wise man, and I'm going to read the entire interpolated version. If it be lawful to call him a man, for he was a doer of wonderful works, a teacher of such men as received the truth with pleasure. He drew over to him both many of the Jews and many of the Gentiles. He was the Christ. And when Pilate, at the suggestion of the principal men among us, had condemned him to the cross, and here's the quote about Christians, those that loved him at the first did not forsake him, for he appeared to them alive again the third day, as the divine prophets had foretold of these and 10,000 other wonderful things concerning him, and the tribe of Christians so named for him are not extinct at this day. That's the only quote. about Christians, and even then, some of
Okay.
that's like added in later. That's the only quote about Christians from
M-
Josephus's
most-
work.
Most historians and textual analysts
Name
agree
one.
that I don't need to. If I said most historians or no,
I don't-
if I said most archaeologists
If
agree,
I said
stop interrupting me. Why is it every time I say
most
something, you
scientists believe
constantly
that a
interrupt me?
unicorn farted the universe, it doesn't mean that it's right. You need to provide. We've provided evidence. Otherwise, you need to provide evidence. It is the case that we know you're fucking lying. Just
Yeah,
FYI.
Either this or you're just like really, really intellectually lazy. So I'm gonna need you to demonstrate that you're not intellectually lazy by actually bringing us citation for the claims you make. Otherwise, we're just not going to believe you.
So where is your citation?
I just book 18, chapter 3, paragraph 3, Antiquities of the Jews. I literally cited my source. You were unable to cite
Yeah,
your source.
that has no relevance with what I was saying. By the way,
It did. It did. You
Absolutely
made a,
nothing.
you made a claim that
Do you know what a
Josephus.
citation is?
I don't think he does.
Are you really?
What's a
Do you know
citation?
what a
Notice how
what
you
is a
guys are winning
citation?
every time I
What
mention
is a citation, my guy?
Okay. So either we.
What
have
is a
conversation-
citation?
Why does she get to interrupt me?
What
every
is a
time she wants?
citation?
But then when I say,
'Cause
What
you're
is a
just lying.
citation? What is a citation?
Okay. So this is you guys running over it.
Nope. This is no. It's insane. It's insane. The hypocrisy of like literally running at every point when we ask you to provide evidence and then claiming that
You-
we're running is insane. This is wild.
You never,
That's why you won't
you
let me
never went to
finish.
college.
That's why you
did
won't let me
you?
finish.
Well, let's not fault him on that. I didn't go to college. He might have gone to college, and I still might be smarter than him. But here's,
Well, no, I'm saying that like I didn't mean that in like a negative way, but like if you went to college and like understood citation is like a very specific thing that we're talking about. Citation means that we're able to provide like direct evidence for this. So whether it's a work like a piece in history or another like quote from another study or something else, we have to provide where we get this information from, and then why we believe it to be the case. But the citation itself
Wait.
is where we're getting the information from.
there's no greater sign of someone winning a debate than having to tell the audience that they're winning. Surely, if I never have to go, I'm winning. I just know I'm winning because I'm not insecure.
You just have to-
I also agree with Sadie Brown in the comment section. Who said not admitting when you're wrong is a huge weakness. I agree. Oz, you should learn a little bit of humility and just know when you're wrong. So
You gotta let me finish, dude.
yeah. So
Can I
provide me.
finish
So,
once?
so yeah,
There we
here's
go.
what you can do.
See.
Provide us evidence that Jesus that we should believe what the Bible. Give us a reason why we should believe what the Bible says, as opposed to like historical.
How many
records.
more evidence do you possibly need?
You've yet to give us one.
I gave you the resurrection.
No,
and
I
then gave you
I said, why should I believe the Bible is true when it talks about the resurrection?
again, like the fact that most professionals in this
So
field
lazy.
agree
So no,
So-
they
so-
don't.
so-
We already fact checked you on
that
that.
no, you're
And-
talking
yeah,
about
we
the
did.
exceptions that don't.
Okay, by the way, most philosophers, most astronomers, cosmologists, historians, like do not believe this to be the case. I'm just going to counter your claim by saying that.
Yeah.
So therefore, I'm just going to say the opposite of yourself. I actually have reference to historians and saying that they're going to quote Josephus. You have nothing. So we then provided the arguments that would be Josephus. Would you like me to pull up scholars that I think that biblical scholarship doesn't? Dan McQuillan, Dr. Joshua Bowen,
Bart Ehrman.
Let me make it concise.
Bart Ehrman. Yeah, Dalton, keep going on with the list of scholarship. Do you have even one that's going to side with you?
Everything you just said. is
Name
completely
a
compatible.
non.
It's completely compatible with what I'm saying.
Wait. Name one non-Christian scholar who agrees that Jesus was resurrected.
Just one.
Dude, again, you won't let me finish, and you just keep on
go
asking
ahead.
me questions
Stop.
after questions.
Hey!
after
Stop
questions.
whining before I get the baby bottle out. Now, name one non-Christian scholar that agrees that Jesus
So I'm
resurrected
not
from
gonna
the
get
dead.
to finish my original point.
So okay, if you
just let me know.
here, watch this. How about that? If you're, I literally listen. It's like trying to milk a cow that's got nothing to give. I can't just sit here and like try to force like an actual like evidence out of you if you got. I'm not gonna force it out of you if you don't have anything. That was the driest fucking fruit I've ever bitten into.
But by the way, I'm friends with historians. So is Dalton on this app. No, it is not the case. The fact that you can't name a reference or a citation, synonymous terms, you can't name a historian, and then you can't give an argument, just tells me that you are not academically serious.
All right, we're going to bring up the next guest. Hopefully this person will be able to answer questions and give evidence for their claims. So we have here Incendium GT. Incendium, I'm going to ask you first 3 preliminary questions that you have to answer, and then we'll get to the conversation. Question number 1, are you at least 18 years old?
Yes, I am.
Question number 2, what pronouns do you go by?
He, him.
And question number 3, are you a Christian?
Yes, I am.
All right, I'm Dalton, the Bible guy. This is Ashland. These are the 3 topics of the night. The Bible is bullshit. Christianity is false. Jesus is dead. Which one of these 3 topics would you like to talk to us about?
Well, first of all, I would like to talk about another thing that someone else, that the last guy, last person you had up talked about, and it was the resurrection. Now, I don't know much about the archaeological record of the resurrection, but I do know a lot about human psychology.
Oh, really? Okay.
Very few
Do you have a
people.
degree? Hey, hold on. Do you have a degree?
I do not have a degree in psychology, as that is not what I'm studying.
Okay.
But
you know a lot
have
about
read-
it.
I know a lot about the human brain, and I know how
That's
people
awesome.
act. So
Well,
I just want to ask.
just FYI, I have a degree in it. I know quite a bit about it too. So yeah, I'm really interested in this conversation.
I want to ask you something.
Yeah.
Would you be willing to die for something that you knew was false?
Well, no,
No.
But no one is here suggesting that anyone's doing that. I don't think for a moment that the apostles knew that what they believed was false. I'm actually under the presupposition that they were thoroughly convinced that Jesus was resurrected for the dead, but just for inadequate reasons.
And I also say that, well, that would depend, right? I do think there are some people that are willing to go to the grave because they refuse to be wrong, even despite like cognitive dissonance and being even like subtly convinced. Because I don't think this is like one of our 100 things. I think that like most behaviors, it's spectrum, and that especially when you have a lot of people around you who might be convinced and maybe you're not as convinced as them, that I don't think that it's this black and white thing, that I think that there's a lot of tribalism that can go about, or there's a lot of other factors that can exist on how in behavior we're motivated to act. Because I'm a behaviorist personally. I think that we're not just stimulated by like our thought process. I think there's a lot of underlying biopsychology that has to do with this. And I think motivation, reward, and learning are these complicated factors. And I think a lot of evidence suggests that if we get a reward for something, then sure, people are going to behave in all sorts of manners.
So I think the first problem here is that you're sort of I think you're on your way to presenting a sort of false dichotomy. It's either Jesus really did resurrect, or the apostles knew that he did it and they were willing, like, and I'm making the claim that they were dying for what they knew was a lie. And those aren't the only options.
Yeah, essentially, I think, and I can look at this from a behavioral standpoint.
Here, I think you and I have been talking for quite a bit. I want him to respond.
Oh, sorry. I apologize.
Yeah. So on. Sorry, just coming off from a cold. I had to cough. On the topic of psychology, the idea that Christianity is completely false is also, it is actually really black and white. The idea that
Depends. What do you mean by completely false?
Your claim Christianity is false is a generalization. What about it is false?
What I mean by false is that the Christianity claims that Jesus was the Messiah, and yet he did not fulfill even one prophecy about the Messiah that is particular to the Messiah in the Old Testament. I have no reason to think that the Christian God exists, and I've never been presented with a good argument for the resurrection.
May I ask though, why are you switching it up from the original claim that people don't act outside of, even when they know that they're wrong, that they may act counterintuitive to that? Why all of a sudden this feels like a subtle bird, like a pivot?
He called my claim that he called my statement that the majority of people are not willing to die for something they know is false, as a false dichotomy.
Right, because there are more options. Because there are more options. It could
I gave you those options,
and it could very well be that the apostles were convinced of their claim, but they were just mistaken.
Or it is the case that they were like sometimes really invested in a claim. Like from what I understand, like there are things that I do every day in life and you do every day in life where we know they're like not great behaviors. I think that a good example is like doom scrolling, right? We know that that's not great, but we do it anyways because learning, memory, and motivation are not that black and white. And you're presenting in this case is that we're making the claim that they're just dying for something that they know is untrue. Well, no, they could be motivated by sociology. They could be motivated by like many different, like just the aspect of dopamine that in this given society that they're going to look on this and they would have more consequences if they said no rather than yes, according to their in-group, so their tribalistic aspects. So like you're presenting it as it's one way or the other, and I'm saying no, and that's what Dalton is saying as well.
So, on your the Bible guy, on your claim that Christianity is false, is that not a lot of the prophecies of the Messiah were fulfilled by Jesus.
Yeah, Jesus fulfilled no prophecies that were particular to the Messiah, like none whatsoever.
So
can I sorry, why do you keep dismissing everything that I say?
Huh?
Why every time I speak, you just then go back to what Dalton said? I gave you an answer to this. Dalton gave you an answer to it. I elaborated on the answer, and now all of a sudden you're shifting. Why are you seemingly ignoring me?
I wasn't really.
You just literally, I just gave you an answer to your question, and then all of a sudden you're like, never mind what she said. I'm going to talk about what Dalton said. Can you answer what I'm saying?
I haven't really heard what you said.
Is it my tone, my pitch? I don't know. Am I too quiet? By the way, I have a microphone. I believe that my audio probably comes in clearer than yours. You didn't hear anything that I said.
It's possible it was my headphones.
He spoke for several minutes. You weren't listening, were you?
My guy, really? You wanted to come up and talk about psychology. I'm willing to talk about psychology. Why did you just ignore me? Or, I mean, I'm not going to say that you maybe not have some sort of, deficiency, but like in not in like a negative way, but like why the fuck, my guy? I just talked about the numerous possibilities that could have happened
Yes, and I understand the possibilities that could have happened, and I heard you. I heard the
You
possibilities.
just said
that
you
could
didn't hear me, so you just backtracked on that.
I didn't hear everything that you said. I heard the possibilities, but that was minutes ago. I wanted to talk about another topic that he just so happened to bring up.
So, but that is the case. That's the problem, is that the original point that you had here, hold on, this may help. The original point that you had was that the psychology shows that there is this dichotomy that people either didn't believe or did. And in doing so, I address the factor that people do counter motivational points, like, say, when we are dealing with someone that they may necessarily believe the opposite because of in-group psychology or sociology, that they may do something separate because of the risk of disconforming from the in-group that they have. It could just be the case that it is also really disturbing or distressing to face that. Like, there are a number of different ways that this could present, and it doesn't have to be this one. Is that better? I can burp too and fart. Or was my point just that good? Honestly.
Could you respond to what Ashlow just said?
What is there to respond to? She's repeating herself. Would you like me to move on to another point?
I would like you to say that this isn't true and give me counter evidence.
I am not saying, I'm not trying to claim that whatever it is, that whatever you said isn't true.
Okay,
I agree with you.
Okay,
That
so
there are
your
more
original
options
point.
than that. But I said, what I was trying to say is that not a lot of people are willing to die.
Luckily,
that is not
okay,
true.
cool. So luckily the case is that how many disciples were there?
There were 12.
Okay, who were willing to die and what evidence are there?
Yeah, what evidence we have for the martyrdoms of the disciples? Do we have any contemporary evidence that isn't like hundreds of years later? It's like just church tradition.
Hold on one second. I don't know it off the top of my head.
I can probably give evidence for maybe 2, maybe 3, and the rest are a matter of tradition. Like, the majority of our information on the martyrdom of the apostles is merely a matter of Catholic tradition, hundreds of years after the fact. The only things that we have, in my opinion, that's our first century records of the death of the apostles is going to be Josephus talking about the death of James in his works, and then Clement of Rome writing about the death of Peter and Paul as having recently taken place. And besides that, no information on the others of the apostles, or we don't even really know how Peter died according to like our actual contemporary sources. The story of like getting crucified upside down is obviously fictional. And the Romans don't care whether or not Peter doesn't want to be crucified the way that Jesus is. They don't give a shit what some Jewish guy's opinion is about how he should be killed. They're just going to hang him up if that's the case.
Yeah, and just across the martyrdom, according to the Bible, there were only 11 that were actually killed. There were 11 that were killed.
No.
John the Beloved in John the Beloved. This is according to the Bible. John the Beloved, who wrote the book of Revelations.
Wait. Where does it describe the death of? Let's pick a disciple. Where does it describe the death of Matthew in the gospel, or the Gospels, or Acts, or the Epistles, or Revelation?
Also, Dalton, isn't that false? Isn't James the son of Zebedee?
Yeah, James the son of Zebedee, which we don't know that he survived. We don't know that he's the John of the book of Revelation, and that's in fact a debate amongst early Christians whether or not the John of Revelation is John the son of Zebedee or is John the elder, a different Christian altogether. But like, there's nothing in the New
Described
Testament.
as John the Beloved. There
Well,
were
no.
there were
No, there's nothing in the book of Revelation that says that the author is John the Beloved. This John, it says the person's name is John, but John's a very popular name in first century Israel. It's just Johannes in Greek or Yochanan in Hebrew. And just in the Gospels alone, there's John the Beloved and there's John the Baptist. And then there's Johannes in the Old Testament. John's a very popular Hebrew name amongst Jewish boys. So that's why that there's debate amongst early Christians as to who wrote the book of Revelation. Book of Revelation almost didn't even make it into the canon of scripture, and they had a lot of debate as to who wrote it. So how you're so sure that it's John the Beloved when the text doesn't indicate this is kind of peculiar. Hello?
I'm still here.
Do you have a rebuttal point?
I have no rebuttal to that.
Okay, well, then you
But I
should
would
say
like-
something to move the conversation forward.
I would like to go on to what you said about that Jesus did not fulfill any of the prophecies,
Okay,
of which he did.
Just because this is a pivot, we are pivoting away from the resurrection and now talking about Jesus failing to fulfill prophecy. Is that what we're doing?
Yes.
All right.
So,
what prophecy do you think Jesus fulfilled? I don't think he fulfilled any that are particular to the Messiah. Quantanite.
just give me a second.
While he's looking for that, we got at X2 Fun, yeehaw, with the 10 Canuck bucks. Keep up the awesome work. Much love from Alberta, Canada. How's it going, eh? Good to see you there. I know it's not really Canadian accent. It's like I do like a freaking Wisconsin accent when I do Michigan. I'm like, hey, how's it going, eh? I love myself a good tackle.
Listen, Tim Hortons, while good, can you convince the United States side to be good at Tim Hortons again? We're just not anymore. We need it. Please call someone.
Okay, I found the first verse, Isaiah 7:14. Therefore, the Lord himself shall give you a sign. Behold, a virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and shall call his name Emmanuel.
All right. Question number 1. Do you know Hebrew?
I do not speak Hebrew. No.
What if I told you that the word for virgin being Betula does not occur in Isaiah 7:14?
Guest, I'm going to be really frankly honest with you right now. In the same way that I know psychology, Dalton knows messianic prophecy. I do implore you to maybe say sometimes you don't know, and it's okay. Like, we respect people that do this.
So the Hebrew of Isaiah 7:14 is Lakin yitzen Adonai hu lechem ot. Hinei ha'alma hara v'yoledet ben b'kirat shemo Emmanuel. Which being translated is, therefore the Lord himself will give you a sign. Behold, the young woman is pregnant and will bear a son, and she will call his name Emmanuel. Your Bible translates this, it changes this in 3 ways. First and foremost, it changes it from young woman to virgin. Then it changes it from shall become pregnant, from is pregnant to shall become pregnant or shall conceive. And I didn't quite hear, did your Bible use the indefinite article for virgin? Did it just say a virgin or did it say the virgin?
A virgin.
That's the other thing. It changes it from the definite article, the young woman, to the indefinite article, a young woman, a virgin, which makes it like indefinite. It could be about any virgin in the future, but that's not how that works. The original Hebrew has nothing to do with a virgin birth. in the future. And in fact, whoever Isaiah is talking about, it's a young woman who may or may not be a virgin, or who may or may not be married, who is already pregnant when he gives this prophecy.
Okay, and there's another prophecy, which is in Isaiah 9:6-7.
Isaiah 9, chapter 6. The child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulders, and the name to which he will be given is Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace, as it's translated in a lot of Christian translations.
And Jesus claimed to be all of those.
Well, here's the problem. I'm gonna read to you. I'm gonna read to you this same verse as it is translated in the Jewish Publication Society translation, 2023 edition. And I want to get your opinion on the way in which this verse is rendered, and I want you to notice the differences. I'm going to pull up Isaiah chapter 9, and in a Jewish translation, it'll be verse 5. It says here, "For a child has been born to us, a son has been given to us, and authority has settled on his shoulders. He has been named the Mighty God is planning grace, the Eternal Father, a peaceable ruler." Do you notice anything different about the way that this is being translated here? No. Notice that in this translation, the child is not called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. Rather, the child is called the Mighty God is planning grace, the Eternal Father, a peaceable ruler. Whereas in your translation, the names are telling us that the child is like somehow God himself. In this translation, for some reason, it renders it as if it's just telling us what God is doing through the child. And that's because the Hebrew being Pele Yoetz El Gibor Aviad Sar Shalom, they can be rendered in both ways. The syntax is quite ambiguous. But here's
if they could be rendered in both ways, who is to say which one is correct?
Well, here's the thing. Let's start with the beginning of this verse. What were the first opening words of this verse? Unto us a child.
For unto us a child is born.
Notice
unto
that
us a son is given.
What's interesting is what it doesn't say. It doesn't say unto us a child shall be born. What is the difference between these two sentences? Unto us a child is born versus unto us a child shall be born. What is the difference between these two sentences?
Sorry, could you repeat that?
Unto us a child is born versus unto us a child shall be born. What is the difference between these two sentences?
Is and shall be is a difference of tense.
Yeah. So
shall be is future, is present.
So which tense is being used here in Isaiah 9?
In Isaiah 9, my translation is present tense.
Right, which would tell us, and that is actually correct. That part is correct. Yeled yuled lanu ben nitan lanu, for unto us a child has been born, unto us a son has been given, or is given, which would tell us what from the perspective of the prophet? When is this child born from the perspective of the author?
From the perspective of the author, it is present tense.
Correct. And Jesus wouldn't be born for 700 more years after Isaiah lived. So whoever this person is, we can actually deduce who the child is based on a few clues. Our first clue is that it says unto us a child is born, meaning that this person was born during the time of Isaiah. That gets us to the 8th century BCE. It also tells us about this child that the government shall be upon his shoulder. So he's like a king. Well, there's a couple of kings who were alive during the 8th century BC. Let me take a look. I believe the names of these kings. Let's see. List of Judean kings, 8th century. So the names of all the kings of Israel in the 8th century were Amaziah, Uzziah, Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah. So that narrows it down to 5 possible persons. Then we can do it even further. This prophecy is given. It doesn't say the government has been upon his shoulders, but the government will be upon his shoulders. So it can't be someone from before whenever this prophecy is given. And this prophecy is given after King Ahaz is already ruling Israel. And the way we know that is because Isaiah speaks to King Ahaz in Isaiah chapter 7. So it has to be after Ahaz in the 8th century, a king. And also this prophecy speaks very positively. So he's a righteous king. And that leaves us with only one possible candidate. And that is King Hezekiah. The child of Isaiah 9:6 is King Hezekiah. And I'm inclined to side with the Jewish translators on this who know Hebrew far better, that the name of the child is the mighty God is planning grace, the eternal Father, a peaceable ruler, because this is just describing what God is doing through Hezekiah.
Okay. Now, that would make a lot of sense.
Also,
but
note that it's strange that not once in the entirety of the New Testament is Isaiah 9:6 ever quoted.
It did say in Micah 5:2 that he is to be born in Bethlehem.
Does it say that though? How many times does the word born or birth occur in Micah chapter 5? Here, I'll read it real quick. Let's see. Micah chapter 5, verse 2, it says, "But you, O Bethlehem Ephrathah, who are one of the little clans of Judah, from you shall come forth for me one who is to rule in Israel, whose origin is from of old, from ancient days." Where does it say anything about the individual being born in Bethlehem? Incendium?
Hold on.
Here, I can pull it up on the screen if that makes it easier. Here. "But you, O Bethlehem of Ephrathah, who are one of the little clans of Judah, from you shall come forth for me one who is to rule in Israel, whose origin is from of old, from ancient days." Where does it say birth or born? And there's an even bigger problem in that even if we granted born in Bethlehem, the biggest problem here is that it says about this individual that they are a Moshal Ba Yisrael, a ruler in Israel. But Jesus, in no demonstrable way, ever ruled in Israel. You have to make claims like he's a spiritual king or he rules from a throne in heaven, but you can't demonstrate that he's ruling in any real way, the way that we can demonstrate that, for example, Herod the Great ruled in Israel.
Yeah, Herod did rule in Israel at the time of at the time of the New Testament.
Yep. And we have evidence because he sat on a throne, he legislated over the people of Israel. Jesus did none of those things. So Micah 5:2, not fulfilled by Jesus.
What about Psalm 22, which had a description of the crucifixion?
Yeah, we will do Psalm 22, but that's going to be our last prophecy, and then I'm going to move on to Jordan after that. So Psalm 22 doesn't describe crucifixion. First and foremost, Psalm 22 verse 1 actually tells you who the psalm is about. What is the superscription of the psalm say?
It says the messianic psalm of David. He
Psalm of
he
David.
foretells the events in the
Well,
Messiah's life. The
wow.
Messiah will say, "My God, why
Okay.
hast thou forsaken me?"
None of that is in the text. None of that's in the text. Your translators
It is in my text.
Well, your translators are adding a bunch of words. That's not what it says in the text. All it says in the superscription of Psalm 22, let me pull it up. All it says is, to the chief musician, upon Ahileth Shahar, a psalm of David. My God, why hast thou forsaken me?
This is in the header of the chapter. This is in the header of the chapter that is in the New King James Version.
Oh, well, that's added in by the translators. That's not part of the original text. The only thing that's actually part of the original superscription is the phrase, to the chief musician, upon Ahileth Shahar, a psalm of David. So who is singing the psalm?
I don't know who is singing the psalm.
It's a psalm of David. In Hebrew, it says a psalm for David, as in David performs the psalm. David's the one singing.
And in the New Testament, when we read about the crucifixion of Jesus, he says that exact phrase, my God, why hast thou forsaken me?"
Jesus quotes lots of people, lots of Jewish people quote these psalms. And do you know what the purpose of the psalms are in Judaism?
I don't know the exact purpose, but I know that they are stories.
No, they're not stories. They're prayers. The purpose of the psalm is to be a prayer book. It was originally used for the choir to sing in the temple, but Jewish people all the time, every day, pray from the Psalms. Not only Jewish people, even Christians. Like if you go to any Catholic priest worth his salt, for example, is going to engage in what's called the Office of Hours, where every day they pray multiple times a day, and in the prayers they include the Psalms. The Psalms are prayers that are meant to be sung by God's people. Any Jewish person who is suffering and who feels neglected by God would engage in the singing of Psalm 22. My God, why have you forsaken me? That the historical Jesus might have quoted it is insubstantial. It doesn't mean that the psalm is about him. It means that the psalm has themes in it that a suffering person would definitely feel like connected to, but Jesus wouldn't be the only Jewish person in the first century quoting the psalm. And again, it was originally performed by and about King David. It's King David who first sang the song. It's King David who said in the first person, my God, why have you forsaken me? It's King David talking about how God has forsaken him. It actually doesn't describe crucifixion. Let me guess. In your Bible translation, it says, they pierced my hands and my feet. Is that correct? In verse 16, your Bible translation says, they pierced my hands and my feet.
It says that right at the end of verse 16.
Well, this might not shock you, but I'm here to tell you that your Bible's mistranslated again. Now, in the original Hebrew, it doesn't say they pierced my hands and my feet. The Hebrew word for pierced is dakar. Dalet kufresh, D-A-Q-A-R. The Hebrew here is ka'ari, yedai vevriklai. They are like a lion at my hands and my feet. The same exact word, ka'ari, is translated like a lion, even in your Bible, in Isaiah 38, verse 13. But for some reason, it's being translated as pierced here, even though that's not what the text says. And newsflash, none of the Psalms are prophecies. None of them. They're poetry. They're prayers. They're not prophetic in nature. They describe the suffering of David, and other people in history would read them and feel connected with David's suffering as well. But that's going to have to be the end of this, because I got Jordan in the comment section who wants to come up and have a conversation. But feel free to call in on another day, Incendium. All right. We're going to bring up Jordan now. Jordan I'm going to ask you 3 preliminary questions and then we'll get to the conversation. Question number 1, are you at least 18 years old?
Yes.
Question number 2, what pronouns do you go by?
I am a man. He, him.
He, him. And are you a Christian?
Yes, I'm a Christian.
All right. I'm Dalton the Bible Guy. This is Ashland. Welcome to the Bible Guy call-in show. Which one of the 3 topics on the mind would you like to talk to us about?
I just want to talk a little bit about what you and the caller before talked about. The Hebrew word kari for they were like lions at my hands and feet.
Yeah.
Right?
Kari, die, vergelai.
Yeah. So the difference is, in the English, in terms of English vocabulary, is just one letter, kari. I thought karu was pierced.
No. So karu, not ka'aru, because there's no Hebrew word ka'aru, which would, if you change like the yud to a vav, it still wouldn't be a Hebrew word. Because karu is spelled kaf resh vav, whereas this would be kaf aleph resh vav, which is not a real Hebrew word. But karu doesn't mean to pierce, it means to dig. Like how one digs out a hole. And one doesn't, when you pierce a person's hands, you're not digging out. Because when you dig, what happens is you take content out and then move it out, like in a hole. But you don't do that when you pierce a hand. You don't dig out hands and then set them to the side. So it wouldn't make any sense grammatically.
Jordan, to be fair, I also had this question. Even if given this factor, like how the language is written, I would say that like piercing isn't used at all.
At all?
At all.
Are you sure?
It's used elsewhere in the Bible, with Hebrew word being dakar, but not here in Psalm 22.
I was watching this video from YouTube, and this guy, it was about the exact same thing that it was about Psalm 22 and how atheists and they say it's not prophetic, it's a poem.
Jordan, can Dalton demonstrate this to you about the use of this and then give context with other Bible phrases? Because this is how, like, I also had this question and I asked him. I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry, real quick. And he also talks about, how atheists and agnostics say that it's not mentioned in Hebrew text. Kari, the piercing. And he said that it is mentioned, and he also said some texts do say kari, which means like lions at my hands and feet.
What do you mean some text?
Some Hebrew text. I forget the name. I'll have to find it, and I'll come back
the Masoretic text, which is the standard text, uses ka'ari, which means like a lion. So,
Jordan, what I was going to ask you is like why we know what this is, and this is the question that I asked Dalton because I was really confused on this. I think Dalton can probably remember the conversation where I was like, "Hey, why does this mean what it means?" And Dalton gave me really good textual examples. Dalton, are you able to?
Yeah, like for example, we see the same exact word, ka'ari, used elsewhere in the Bible, and it gets translated as like a lion. Isaiah 38, verse 13. When we turn to Isaiah chapter 38, and I'll pull it up from. I'll even pull it up from like a really I would consider a shitty translation, being the King James Version Bible. I will pull up Isaiah 38, even in the King James Bible. Verse 13 says, "I reckoned till morning that, as a lion, so will he break all my bones. From day even to night wilt thou make an end of me." And where it says here in the English, "as a lion," which is as and like are the same word, as a lion, the Hebrew there, we take a look at Isaiah in the original Hebrew. I'm totally blanking all of a sudden. Isaiah 38, not 13.
In that context,
Jordan, just to give you a reference, I did not take Dalton's word for this.
As a lion, in that context, as a lion, right?
Yeah.
Where they say breaking the bones. What does it like? Let's go with that as a lion. What does the lion do in that?
Yeah, it's
in that
it's,
situation.
it's describing how he's being pulled and attacked from every corner. The
Okay,
same,
what would a lion do?
it would tear off your arm. That's what if you've ever seen like
Pierce your body, right?
it would tear off your
It would
arm.
pierce your body.
It would tear off your
It would
arm.
bite. It would pierce your.
It would tear
Yeah,
off.
but it would bite you.
I'm
It
sorry.
would bite you.
This is a stretch, buddy. This is a stretch. Lions don't just pierce your hands. If a lion,
What does a lion do?
if a group of lions,
Lion just doesn't walk up to
bud,
somebody and
bud,
then rip off their arm.
bud.
They
Yes.
bite you.
No, they don't just bite you. A lion doesn't just bite you and then leave you alone. What happens is
And
if
they scratch you. They pierce you.
I would
with their,
love I would love
oh.
to be I would love to be able to finish my answer before you cut me off. That'd be great on my own show. So if you are being attacked by lions and they're coming at you from all corners, they don't just bite you and leave you pierced. What they do is they bite you and they rip your arms and the legs off. They tear you apart.
I think that, like, Jordan, no, the problem is that like a lion at my hands and my feet does not indicate this in the Hebrew, which is what I learned by talking to Dalton, because I was like, oh yeah, this makes sense. But the digging aspect, and I looked up the scholarship because Dalton, like, I talked to Dalton about this because I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense from my English understanding. But then we talked about what this meant and how the Hebrew grammar represent.
I'll be off the app if you go.
Jordan.
I'm sorry.
Okay, but the Hebrew grammar didn't indicate this, and I had to, like, by the way, Dalton is one of my best friends. I believe him wholeheartedly most times, but it doesn't mean that I don't, like, research what Dalton says and says that it's like, okay, it can't be. Like, I think when we were arguing mythicism, the Tao, the brother of Jesus, like, I consistently look up what Dalton says. In the Hebrew grammar of this, the digging aspect is a very important part in what digging means and how that is.
What's interesting is that there is a text. There's a scroll. It's an error scroll where it says ka'aru in the text. It's from a cave in Nachal Kever, but the problem is you really don't want to use this text as being authentic because the next word after it is also a mistake. It's obvious that this scroll is a scroll where there's an error in the scroll because not only does it say, you see the first word here, it says oh, my bad. It says ka'aru, the first arrow, but the second word, it doesn't say yadai, which means my hand, like in Psalm 22 in the Masoretic text. It says yadaya, which means her hand. So if you want this to actually be the authentic version of the psalm, then Jesus has to be a woman now, because what the text would then say is not like a lion at my hands and feet. It would say ka'aru, which is not a real word because it doesn't mean dig. Karu means to dig, not ka'aru. Ka'aru, her hand, and my feet. Doesn't make any sense.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
So even if you say Yediah, mean her hand, what her are you talking about? You have to put the person into the frame.
Is Jesus a her?
No, you have to. Then you tell me what her is that.
No,
text
it's
talking about? Who's her?
That text is an error. There is no her. That's the problem. Is that the original Hebrew doesn't say, the original Hebrew didn't say ka'aru, and it also didn't say Yediah. This scroll was an error scroll. So the version we have in the Masoretic text, ka'ari Yedai reglai, that's the original, like a lion at my hands and my feet.
Well, Miss Ashley here, correct me if I'm wrong. She did say that it was not mentioned at all. Karu.
I didn't say that. I was talking about the language use and what it means to dig.
And you came up with a text that you just told me now that it does say karu.
Ka'aru is not a real word, though. Wait. Ka'aru is not a real word, though. That's not a real word in Hebrew.
And that is what I was taught. Hold on, Jordan.
What? I thought you said it was digging.
No. Ka'aru means to dig. Ka'aru is not a real word. There's a one-letter difference between those two words.
The digging itself that could be translated into that Hebrew is a dig that means something else. But if we so there are two different ways that Dalton is talking about this. One, indicates a female presence, a woman presence, and the other is just kind of like this understanding about what this means. Dalton, the second translation, not the female translation, does mean something different, correct? That when we talk about dig and how that means dig.
Well, the thing is, there is no version of Psalm 22 that uses the word dig in the Hebrew. The only version that comes close to saying that is this mistake scroll, which doesn't actually say dig. It says ka'aru, which doesn't mean dig. Karu means to dig. Ka'aru doesn't mean anything in Hebrew. There's a difference. Karu versus ka'aru. Those are two different words. One's a real word, one's not a real word. The original Hebrew just says, they are like a lion at my hands and my feet.
Okay. I found the video of the guy I was watching yesterday. His name is Mike Winger or Mike Winger.
I know who Mike Winger is. He's wrong.
Exactly what we're talking about is, I clicked on it yesterday, I watched it, and then I just hopped on YouTube, and I heard you guys talking about it, so I just want to bring that up. Just want to talk a little bit about it, but I'm not here to talk about that. Just to go. I'm here
Then
to.
why did you bring forth the argument?
Yeah, like, you're like,
Because
don't bring it up if you're not going to talk about it. Come on, dude.
No, I brought it up because I told you, because the caller before I was interested in what you guys were talking about because of what I watched.
Yeah, well, Mike Winger's wrong. It's as simple as that.
Well, Jordan, like, if you're going to bring up this perspective, did you maybe do any like understanding to this? Did you look into not just the Christian perspective? Did you look at the atheist perspective, and then maybe?
Well, he brought it up. This guy brought it. He brought the Christian.
Yeah.
Brought the atheist. He brought the Jewish.
But did you fact check any of this information from anyone that's?
No. I just watched the video.
Well,
if you watch the video, you can watch the video.
But okay, I think this speaks more to Jordan. Why? Like I'm a fucking liberal, Democrat, socialist. I don't trust everything that comes online about that. I'm an atheist. I don't trust everything that comes online about atheist content. I don't trust a majority of people. Like I brought up to you earlier in this conversation, when we had this conversation, Dalton and I had questions for Dalton, who is one of my best friends, and I think he's right on like most things. I still question Dalton, my best fucking friend, on his own arguments. Why aren't we questioning things? I think Dalton remembers me questioning him on this.
I'm bringing it up to you, the supposed, what you call it? The person who knows everything about it. So you're telling me it's wrong.
Dalton doesn't claim to know everything.
I have never once claimed to know everything. I just happen to know a lot about this topic.
Okay. Well, what I really wanted to talk, because remember, I just came on, I heard you guys talking. I was like, oh, that's interesting, because I watched the video last night. So let me bring it up to them and let me hear what they think. So I wanted to talk about Isaiah, the book of Isaiah.
All right.
Right. Yes. I don't know if you. I'm Q on YouTube. I don't know if you remember me.
Yes. All right. I remember you. You called yesterday.
I want to continue the conversation. Yes, maybe I think yesterday. Let me continue. Let us continue this conversation about Isaiah, because you seem to know about the Bible.
You wanted to talk about Isaiah 9:6. Did you hear my conversation with the last guest about Isaiah 9:6?
No, I just hopped on with the caller right before me.
Okay, I will give you the quick rundown, and then what's probably best is that you go back and you listen to that segment where I have the conversation. Isaiah 9:6 is about King Hezekiah. It tells us not that the child shall be born in the future, but that the child unto us a child is born. Unto us a child.
And what child are you talking about?
Hezekiah. The child is Hezekiah. And while your Bible, and while your Bible might say that the child's name is Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace,
No.
I side with the JPS translation on this. That the name of the child is the Mighty God is Planning Grace, the Eternal Father, a peaceable ruler. So it's not telling us that the child is God, but rather what God is doing through the child.
Okay, so the child, right? The child that prophet that verse is prophesying. What child is that verse prophesying?
Hezekiah, King Hezekiah.
Hezekiah. Okay. And in that verse where it says, it talks about, does it not talk about the prophetess?
That's in the chapter before. That's in Isaiah chapter 8. It describes Isaiah
Yeah.
and his wife, the prophetess.
Yes. What is the significance of Isaiah and the wife and the birth of their son, Maher? Or
Maher-shalal Hashbaz.
What
There
is the
is
significance to the timeline? So what's going on in
Yeah.
Israel at that time?
at this time in Israel, it looks like it's quite common because Isaiah is not the only one that's happened to. This also happens to Hosea if you read his book. That we have this pattern where allegedly God tells the prophet to have a kid, and then he tells the prophet to name the kid something, and the kid's name is like symbolic of some great prophetic truth. So
What is the importance of that? Remember, there's a prophecy about that child that before he cried mother and father, what is happening? What is going to happen before that child is?
Yeah. So at the time, the Israelites are afraid that the Assyrians are going to, like, because already at this point, it's not even the Israelites, it's the people of Judea. They're afraid of the empire of Assyria because the northern kingdom of Israel has already been taken into exile by the Assyrians, and they're worried that they're next. And so the prophet is telling us, listen, my wife has had a baby. And before that baby is even old enough to know the difference between good and evil or how to say mama and dada, the Assyrians are going to be taken care of. So the child serves as a visual a reminder and almost like a time scale to let Israel know how soon their enemies are going to be taken care of.
Yes. So, and then you go along Isaiah, and then you go to, Isaiah 9, 6.
Yeah. Now the prophet is talking about another child who has been born, and that this child would be
It's
a
the same
king.
child.
It's not the child. Well,
the same child.
no,
It's the same child.
I don't have any.
It's talking about the same child born in the future.
No, it's a different child. I don't have any reason to think that this is the
It's
same child. No, I don't have any reason to think that's the case. Why should I take that? Why should I take it to be the case?
Because you're showing a case of eisegesis instead of exegesis,
No,
talking
no.
about the
Yeah, no,
context
yeah.
around it.
No, yeah. Tell
That's
me.
why I want to.
No, tell me
I
where.
wanted to engage you.
Yeah. So Jordan, tell
I
me
wanted
why.
to engage you
Why?
about what's going on.
Q.
What's going on with Israel?
Q.
What
Why?
was going on with
Wait.
Israel? at that time?
Q. What in the text of Isaiah 9 would lead me to believe that the child mentioned in Isaiah 9:6 is the same is Maher-shalal Hashbaz?
No. We're not talking. We're talking about the prophecy in 7:14.
Oh, okay.
Maher-shalal,
Okay. Why should I? Where in the text of Isaiah 9:6 would lead me to believe that this child is the same child as Emmanuel?
Emmanuel.
Yeah. Why should I think
Emmanuel
that this?
literally means God with us?
Yeah. And
Yes.
how does that lead me to believe that this is the same child as Isaiah 9:6?
And because Jesus claimed that He is God in
Well, no,
human flesh.
No, he doesn't. But also Isaiah 9:14 is
Yes.
not about Jesus. It's about
It
Isaiah.
is.
It's about Isaiah. It's one of Isaiah's kids.
No. See, that's what I'm saying. People gonna say it's about him and the prophet's son.
Well,
No.
here's why. Here's why it has to be Isaiah's kid, and not Jesus.
It has-
When
it
was
does-
wait,
the
wait,
only
Q,
prophecy
Q,
that-
Q,
that-
Q, Q,
that is-
Q,
that is
stop,
concerning
Q,
the kid
Q,
is
Q,
the
please,
prophecy of
Q,
fall
please
of
don't make me
Judea.
mute. Please don't make me mute you, please. All right, I don't want to have to do
That's
that.
the only.
No,
that
stop,
is the only
stop,
prophecy
stop,
about that child.
stop.
Hey, Jordan, hold on. He's just literally trying to answer your question
Okay,
about Isaiah.
when was this prophecy given? Isaiah 7:14. Approximately when?
I don't know.
It was given during the time of the prophet
You know?
Isaiah, which would be the 8th century BCE. When was Jesus born? Around like the 1st century BCE or CE, right? 700 years after the fact? Okay. The text of Isaiah 7:14, I'm going to ask you a question. Does it say that the woman in question shall become pregnant in the future? Or does it say that the woman is pregnant, present tense?
Yeah, shall become pregnant.
Incorrect. So in the
both
original in the original Hebrew, it says about the young woman of Isaiah 7:14, it says, Ha'alma hara, the young woman is pregnant. As in whoever Isaiah is talking about in Isaiah 7:14, it's someone who is already pregnant. So which leads us with a couple options. Either this means that Jesus was born 700 years before everyone else says he was born during the time of Isaiah, which doesn't make sense because Jesus lived during the time of the Roman Empire, and the Roman Empire didn't exist in the time of Isaiah. Or it means that Mary was pregnant for 700. Wait, I'm not done yet. Not done yet. Or it means that Mary was pregnant for 700 years, which doesn't make sense according to the Gospels because it only says she was pregnant for like 9 months. Or wait. Well, no, it can't be. No, Jordan, it can't be because it says the one. Want it to be. No, Jordan, it has nothing to do with wants. The text says that the woman is pregnant. Q, you're not listening.
So,
okay, if
I've also looked at this, Jordan. The Hebrew checks out. Like, it absolutely does. But it's not just that. It's the fact that Mary also, and I bring this up, and hey, I'm okay. It's not just that. Like, that would be one indication. And Dalton, breathe. You're frustrated. I fucking see it.
I'm not frustrated. I'm not frustrated. It's just obvious he's not wanting to listen.
Yeah. Well, that would make me frustrated. Jordan, does this indication? I know it sounds stupid to you, Dalton, but no one calls him Emmanuel.
Yeah, it's just not that. It's not the strongest point. Like
it isn't. I don't think that it is either. But the problem is the people that are arguing this point are like making weak arguments as well. So like weak arguments.
The strongest.
They're the confounding.
The problem is it's something he can't get past is the fact that Isaiah 7:14 explicitly says that the woman is pregnant. You need to deal with that, Q. Isaiah 7:14 says that the woman in question
Just like your friends here, I gotta question you.
Yeah, go ahead, do that.
I got Yeah, so I'm not taking your word that's the literal translation of.
Oh, you don't have to take. You don't have to take my word. I can show you. I can give you evidence. I can go. Let's take a look. If I type on the word hara, using Isaiah 7:14, and I go to the Brown Drivers Briggs lexicon, which is like is like one of the standard for like understanding the Hebrew of the text. Let's see what the Brown Drivers Briggs lexicon says.
Again, Jordan, how language is used across the text is something that I've asked Dalton on several times. The problem that you're going to have is that it would contradict other statements that you have. Like when we look about this terminology, and you would have to like deny other factors.
So it says here in the Brown Drivers Briggs lexicon that hara is an adjective, feminine. It means pregnant in the absolute sense. It means substantive, pregnant women, woman with child. Not, it's used as an adjective. Like, you know how we say like White House. It's the house that is white. The word white there is serving as an adjective to describe
it's open
the
to
house.
interpretation, right?
No, it's not. No, it's not. Because we have a word in Hebrew for will become pregnant, and that's tahare, which is not used in Isaiah 7:14. We know what these words mean. That's why the vast majority of scholars, when they translate Isaiah 7:14, such as in the New Revised Standard Version Updated Edition or the New Jewish Publication Society 2023 edition, the majority of these ecumenical scholars agree that the translation should be that she is pregnant.
Oh, so it's what these scholars.
It's just what the Hebrew means. It's just what the Hebrew means.
No.
Jordan, who do I believe?
Jesus fucking Christ.
Jordan, who do I believe? The experts in the field and the people who actually speak Hebrew, or you? Who do I believe?
Or the Hebrews.
The Hebrews.
No. That's not what's being said.
Wait. The Hebrews. Guess what? What? Okay, you believe the Hebrews. Okay, watch it. Okay, you believe. Okay, I'm gonna take you on that. Watch this. I'm gonna go to a Hebrew translation made by the Hebrews. All right, I'm going to go to a translation made by the Hebrews, made by the Jewish people. Here we go. I'm going to go to the Tanakh. These are Hebrew scholars, the Jewish Publication Society. This is translated exclusively by Jewish people. people who actually speak Hebrew. So let's see what they say. Isaiah 7:14 says.
And you read the Bible and you think those people in Israel are Hebrews.
We're not getting into that. We're not getting. We're not. Oh, wait, I'm not. Wait,
No,
wait,
no.
no.
We're
We're not.
talking
No,
about
Jordan.
Isaiah.
Jo-
We're
no,
talking about-
no,
No,
no.
about-
Isaiah, shut
Don't-
up, Jordan.
don't-
We're
let's
not.
just
We
treat it.
are not. Wait, stop. Everyone
How
stop.
is this?
We're not going to touch the topic of whether or not the people in the modern state of Israel are Jewish, because also the people who translate the JPS don't necessarily come from the state of Israel. They're Jewish people from all over the world. Now, I'm not going to. I'm not going to let you start on the anti-Semitic point that Jewish people aren't Jewish. I'm not going to let that happen. These are actual Jewish people. You can say against all you want. You can put your tinfoil hat on and say otherwise, but I'm not going to allow that kind of talk on this live. Isaiah 7:14, which is an actual Jewish translation from actual Hebrew-speaking people, unlike you, Jordan, says, and I quote, "Assuredly, my sovereign will give you a sign. Nonetheless, look, the young woman is with child and about to give birth to a son. Let her name Emmanuel." The same exact thing that a Christian translation, the New Revised Standard Version Updated Edition, which is a Christian translation, says in Isaiah 7:14, "Therefore the Lord himself will give you a sign. Look, the young woman is with child and shall bear a son and shall name him Emmanuel." Both a Jewish translation and the Christian text both say is with child. You are just outnumbered on every front, Jordan.
How is this word used previously in like other passages?
Genesis 16:10, for example, uses the same exact word. Genesis 16 verse 10, speaking about Hagar, it says, then the angel of the Lord also said, "I will so greatly multiply your offspring." So that, wait a minute. No, it's actually verse. Then the Lord just said, "Hagar, Sarah, your slave is to be power." Let me see where the actual verse is where it's used. Yeah,
Jordan.
Verse 11. "And the angel of the Lord said to her, now you have conceived and shall bear a son." You have conceived and bore a son. I bet even in your translation, Jordan, what translation do you use? Jordan, you need to unmute yourself. What translation do you use? Jordan.
Bro, I don't use a translation.
Yes, you do. You don't read the Hebrew. So what translation do you use?
So let me talk about that word that says
Hold on.
No, what translation do you use? You use the King James
I don't
Bible?
use a translation.
Yes. Wait,
You understand what I'm saying?
are you telling me you read the original Hebrew?
I don't use it. I don't read the Hebrew. I'm not using it.
Okay, here are the other options.
Obviously,
You either read the original Hebrew or you're reading a translation. Those are the only options. That's how that works.
Oh, you're talking about a site? Google. That's
No,
it.
no.
That is a dichotomy, Jordan.
Jordan,
wait.
What? Jordan.
Like, Jordan. Hey, hold on. Like, do you Hebrew? Well, Jordan, I'm speaking to you again. This is really weird that every time I speak to you, it's like I don't
homeboy keep
exist.
muting me. That's why he keep muting me.
Okay, do you speak Hebrew?
I don't speak Hebrew. I get it
Okay,
from Google.
so okay, well then Google is not even a translation. My
That's what I'm
guy,
telling you.
like
I don't use the translation.
Okay.
Jordan, when you're reading the Bible online, what website are you using?
Google.
Google doesn't have a fucking Bible. There's not a section on the Google tab where it goes Google Images, Google Shopping, Google Bible.
Tell you that's what I use.
All right.
Hold on. Let's speak about the word.
No. Over.
That was odd.
Yeah. Jordan doesn't know. Q/Jordan doesn't know what he's talking about. Fun fact, Google doesn't have a fucking official translation of the Bible. The Google translation doesn't fucking exist. But I will tell everyone real quick, just so you know, it's Genesis 16 verse 11. Genesis 16 verse 11 is where it says, "Vayomer la malach Adonai hinach hara veyoledet ben," and said to her the angel of the Lord, "Behold, you are pregnant, and you will have a son." And the same word that's used for "you are pregnant" is hara. It's the same exact word used in Isaiah 7:14, and even in a translation, like if I was to go to the King James Version Bible, good old King Jimmy, and I was to see what King Jimmy translated this as. Let's take a look. King James Bible. And the angel of the Lord said unto her, behold, thou art with child. Art is the present tense of being, like you are. Thou art with child. So even the King James agrees that hara means to be pregnant present tense. I love Charlie over here saying you're no biblical experience guy. Sure, whatever you say, Charlie. I'm the one who reads Hebrew. You're not. Nice try, though. All right. We're going to bring up a next guest. And do not forget that if you're on YouTube and you'd like to call in, you can do so by calling in at tinyurl.com/BG show Discord. You're sad. Again, it's like, guys, like we always said, it's either God or grammar, never both. You put the wrong your. All right. Gloria is coming up now. Gloria, I'm going to ask you 3 preliminary questions, and then we'll get into the conversation. Question number 1, are you at least 18 years old?
Hello, can you hear me?
Hello, do you have
We've spoken to Gloria before.
Well, just so I can get a reminder for myself and for everyone, are you at least 18 years old?
Yes,
And what pronouns do you go by?
I'm an E.
And are you a Christian?
Yes.
All right, Gloria, welcome to the Bible Guys Show. Which one of the 3 topics on the board would you like to talk to us about?
2 of them, the Bible and the Christianity. Can you hear me?
Which one? Which one did you want to talk about?
Number 1, the Bible is BS.
All right. The reason I say that the Bible is bullshit is because it contains scientific errors, historical errors, contradictions, and failed prophecies.
So I just want to ask for your suggestion. Can you help me open to Genesis 38, verse 24?
Genesis 13:24?
No, Genesis 38, verse 24.
38:24.
All right. Genesis 38, verse 24. And it came to pass about 3 months after that it was told Judah, saying, Tamar, thy daughter-in-law, hath played the harlot, and also, behold, she is with child by whoredom. And Judah said, bring her child forth and let her be burnt.
Dalton, you know this is my favorite passage.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if you notice that thing, this is something, that means it was before Moses, right?
Yes, this story takes place
Yeah,
before
no one
Moses.
denies that.
Yeah, let's just see where he's going to go with this.
Relax. That was something like a custom and culture that was practiced by the tribes of Israel, right? Even before the story of Moses.
You're saying it wasn't considered kosher? It wasn't considered kosher. It'd be a bit of an anachronistic term. Would be considered kosher by the standards of any like Canaanite tribe of this time.
I just want to. I have a question for you on this. If it is the case that, like, men in this entity could do this, like, why are we looking at this verse to say that firstborns don't have? Oh, they left.
Oh fuck! Oh, hey,
I was
guys.
going to ask about men and firstborn rights.
Oh well. By the way,
and how
guys,
women were treated, but
fun fact about this passage. This passage also has it's saying about Tamar. Behold, she is pregnant, and guess what it says in the Hebrew? Hine hara. Behold, you are pregnant. Hara again. Hurrah! Hurrah! She's pregnant. That's why. That's what that means. That's how you can remember that, guys. Hurrah! You're pregnant.
Well, the fun part about this is that, God is sitting there, like, saying that these are a married couple and that these rights are passed down, which, like, I don't think anyone agrees with what is happening between Judas and Tamara in this smiting, that he has an obligation to come into her, not any of these things. I think it's, like, great that she's like able to get back her autonomy, sure. But like when we read this passage, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, we'll never know what his point was. He just ran away.
Yeah. Yeah, it was super weird. That's one of my like Dalton knows that's one of my favorite passages in the text.
We have some super chats here. At Gentleman Viking with the it's the same dude, Jordan. I'm not bringing him up. At Gentleman Viking with the $2, you'd get more juice from banana than from Oz. I agree. We couldn't get a single fucking answer out of him. You get more juice from a banana than from Oz, the weak and pitiful. At Fern Lovebond with the $5, it's rough times for us poors, but I can afford a cup of coffee. Crazy how much a cup of coffee costs these days, ain't it? A hashtag AWTB, Ashlyn wets the bed. This Fern keeps saying this. Fern really wants to start rumors.
I peed on Fern's bed. That's the problem.
Yeah, that's the problem. We just peed on Fern's bed. We were marking our territory. All right, let's see. Well, listen, we are way past the 3-hour mark, so I'm going to open up the floor now to friendlies to call in and ask your Bible questions. Hurrah can be used in the past, present tense. Well, you lost your opportunity to give that argument, Jordan, by acting like a dick. So anyways, if you're a friendly and you'd like to come up and ask a question, now's the time. So we're going to bring up Zeprix. And don't forget, if you're on YouTube, you can call in at tinyurl.com/Bible Guy or BG Show Discord.
tinyurl.com/Bible Guy or BG Show Discord.
Ugh. I don't like that at all. Don't like the sound of my voice. Zeprix, are you at least 18? Zeprix sounds like a medicine. Ask your doctor if you're okay with Zeprix. Anyways, and what pronouns do you go by?
He, him, I guess.
And are you a Christian? Or are you a believer or a non-believer?
I actually can't
I
hear
believe,
them.
Yeah. You can't
I
hear.
do believe in Christianity.
That might be on your end, Ashlyn. All right. What brings you up to the Bible Guy show?
I just wanted to contend with like the second prompt that Christianity is false.
All right. The reason I hold that position is that Christianity's main claim is that Jesus is the Christ/Messiah. And yet he didn't even fulfill one prophecy that is particular to the Messiah in the Old Testament.
Okay, well, I mean, first, I just want to ask, like, do you reject the possibility of miracles, like, a priori?
I mean, I'm a naturalist. I don't believe that miracles happen. I can, but I'm willing to have my mind changed. But that doesn't really have anything to do with what I just said. Like, even if miracles, even if magic existed, I still like, even if miracles happen, I would just be Jewish. I wouldn't believe in Christianity because Jesus wasn't the Messiah.
Okay, so yeah, but obviously it comes through like the interpretive lens that you read the scriptures, right? So the reason it's relevant is because for Christ to fulfill a prophecy, miracles must be possible, right? So it is kind of relevant. It's kind of preceding the question.
So let's pretend I'm Jewish and let's pretend I'm Jewish and I believe that miracles can happen. Jesus didn't fulfill prophecies, therefore he's not the Messiah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I mean, are you just gonna say like you don't want to contend with?
Like the reason I say Christianity is false
from the Old Testament.
The reason why I say Christianity is false has nothing to do with miracles. It has everything to do with the fact that Jesus didn't meet the criteria to be the Messiah.
Also, like, you do need to demonstrate
what
that
criteria do you not meet?
miracles. What? No. What is your miracle? Name one.
I really didn't want to pivot to miracles. You have bad hiccups, Ashlyn.
I'm sorry.
I do.
I think I had bad connection. I didn't hear anything that was said.
Okay, cool. Name a miracle. One.
Yeah, I can just like appeal to the creation of the universe.
That's not a miracle. That's wild.
Oh, okay. So what is it then?
Are you asking like why the universe was created?
Ashlyn, look at your Discord messages. I really don't want to pivot to the whole miracle thing. That's not why I think Christianity is false. The reason why I don't believe in Christianity is because Jesus wasn't the Messiah.
Yeah, but that like requires you to like prove your worldview, right? Because
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. I could believe that God existed and that miracles happened. I still wouldn't believe that Christianity is true.
That would still be a different worldview than the Christian worldview. Am I
Wait,
wrong?
no, the
Am I
Christian
right?
world. Wait, is the Christian worldview that Yahweh exists?
It's that the Father exists.
Yeah, that's
and
also
that
the
Yahweh
that's
was
also
the reference.
that's
the
Jesus. That's
Father.
also Judaism. Judaism calls Yahweh the Father. Now,
Yeah.
I feel like what's happening here maybe is that you don't want to talk about this because you don't know the Hebrew Bible well enough to have this conversation. Is that what's happening?
Well, I'm not exactly like a biblical scholar, but I am educated somewhat on philosophy, and so I wanted to have more of a philosophical dialogue with you.
Of course you are, but why I don't believe in Christianity has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do. Like the reason I left Christianity in the first place, I left Christianity for Judaism before I left Judaism for atheism. And the reason why I left Christianity was because Jesus is not the Messiah, and that because he did not fulfill prophecies.
Yeah, so like again, the reason you think that he didn't fulfill any prophecies is because are you using this off of the Old Testament and the New Testament? Because if we look for continuity between the Old and the New, we do see like things that we could claim are prophecies. We would just have to argue about each one of them.
Yeah, you can claim they're prophecies, but like, what's the evidence? Like, there are lots of passages that you Christians point to, and you make the claim that they're prophecies. But like for example, I'm working on a book right now that I'm writing about the 365 fulfilled prophecies by Jesus, and the majority of them aren't even prophecies. They're not even making predictions about the future. They're either going to be poetry or narratives that you think are thematically similar to Jesus.
Can poetry not be a?
Well, I've yet to see a psalm that's actually a prophecy.
Yeah, I mean, like, would it not be fitting from like the Christian perspective to think that fitting? Would it not be fitting?
I don't care what's fitting for your perspective. When I read the Psalms, they don't read like prophecies. There's no indication in them that they are prophecies.
Yeah, so this is just like assuming that your interpretation would be correct, right?
Yeah, we can, and that's what we're going to be talking about. Can you give me a reason? Can you motivate why I should accept your interpretation?
Because the early church fathers would have disagreed with you.
Why would I care what a bunch of old dusty farts had to say about the they didn't even read Hebrew.
They were more close to the actually they did because there were several of them probably did because they were early church fathers, right? They grew up in the area.
They spoke Greek. Jerome learned Hebrew.
Yes.
Jerome learned Hebrew, but besides him, I'm not aware of many church fathers that actually spoke Hebrew. They were Greeks and Romans.
So is Jerome like not a source?
He just translated the Bible. Good for him.
Okay, yeah. So again, this is going to be through like an interpretive lens. So
here, I'm just going to put this here because 1 second. I'm just going to put this here because I'm already tired. So go ahead, make your argument.
Yeah. So I would classify the Bible as like data in this particular argument, and so we're looking at it through our worldviews. What I'm saying is that because you're using a worldview that already rejects like this possibility, I don't see why like we would ever get to the point of proving that they're a miracle.
Holy shit, I almost fell asleep. Anyways, was the argument that Jesus fulfilled, like give a prophecy that he actually fulfilled, and we can discuss it, and you can motivate like why I should consider said thing to be a prophecy about Jesus. You can at least try. But if your whole argument is just going to be church fathers saw so, well, you're not going to get very far with me.
Do you think like the church fathers are not like it's not credible? Possible to appeal to them?
No, I don't think they're credible. At least I don't have a reason to consider them credible on this topic. Like so, if a church father makes you're basically saying I'm not making an argument for Jesus. They are, in which case I'm just going to question them and I'm going to fact check them against what the Hebrew Bible actually says.
Yeah, so I mean, I just think the reason, my apologies, but like the reason for my faith in particular would be like some kind of argument of like the impossibility of the contrary. So
Of course, a favorite Phil Bro line: "Impossibility to the contrary." We love to hear it. Actually, wait a minute. I gotta add that to the Phil Bro bingo card. One second.
Well, may I ask a question?
yeah.
So you know all predictable outcomes to the contrary.
No, obviously not. But I think that like
Why is it impossible then?
yeah. So I mean, I'm just gonna hold to some kind of level of phenomenal conservatism, and the fact that I haven't been given defeater for.
So it's
the
not an
idea
impossibility
that-
of the contrary, it's in a supporting fact of what you think that exists.
I'm sorry.
Well, it's not an impossibility of the contrary if you're just going to support the claim.
Yes.
Because you're not arguing against every other claim, you're just supporting your own claim.
Well, I'm arguing against your world. Like, for example, his worldview is naturalism, and naturalism wouldn't be able to ground truth.
Okay, that's fine.
I held this position when I wasn't a naturalist. That's why this is bullshit.
Well, no, I am calling bullshit on this position because you're not actually doing impossibility to the contrary, are you? You're just saying, I support my claim, but you're not actually giving evidence for your claim.
Yeah, so do you understand that, like, evidence is just going to be data in service of an argument?
It's going to be anything that
Yeah,
raises
very
the likelihood
familiar.
that our
I
concern-
don't give a shit. That's not what you're giving though.
So,
you're
it's
doing
gonna rely on
the
your presupposition.
Okay. The problem.
you
the
just
problem,
you can
Here.
use these terms, my guy.
Zephyrix, this argument would be zero difference if I believed in God and miracles. This argument wouldn't change at all. I would still not believe in Christianity, and that's what. And I think that you have to do all this
Okay, that's
bullshittery
fine, but I think I
because
would have
you
to
are
first-
biblically illiterate. That's why you have to run to your philosophy. I get it. Phil Bros don't know the Bible. That's what
He's
that's
not
what-
even
that's-
doing good at
that-
philosophy.
I know. That's one of y'all's biggest problem is that y'all are biblically illiterate. That's why y'all can't contend with me on the Bible.
Well, there are, like, obviously people more educated than me on the Bible.
I've
but
yet-
I'm
I've
here
yet
to
to
Give
meet
a
a
debate
fucking
what I'm
argument,
aware
my
of.
guy.
I've
Give an
yet to-
argument.
I've yet to meet a single Phil Bro on this app that knows the Bible at all.
That's great. Not all Phil Bros are on TikTok, bro.
Okay, so give an argument.
Let's pretend I'm Jewish. I believe in miracles and God exists and all that jazz. Jesus didn't fulfill prophecies unless you can give me a reason to think so. You got 54 seconds.
Okay, yeah. Well, I'll just concede that I won't be able to give you an argument for a specific miracle.
Thank you. All right, Bill. What a waste of office hours time to have someone like that come up. Don't forget, this is office hours, so if you're a friendly and you like to come up and ask a question about the Bible, now's the time to do so. Now, Gloria wants to come back up. Gloria disappeared from the conversation. Gloria, we'll just start all over. Gloria, what brings you up to the Bible Guy show?
Hello. Okay. Hello. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. What brings you up?
And so, the Genesis part, that Genesis 38, that burning of a prostitute, it was like kind of a custom and tradition, even before Moses' time.
Yeah, it was practiced amongst the ancient Canaanites. They typically didn't care for like women engaging in quote unquote prostitution.
So, like, I wanted to ask something.
They
Don't
were
you think
they were
it's-
cool with men doing it though.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
very much
but-
so.
But don't you think it's kind of a coincidence that Moses came during the era of the New Kingdom or the Egyptian Empire?
He didn't because he didn't exist.
And to me, I feel that the story of Moses was kind of invented.
Wait. How do you even know when Moses came up? Like, because the problem is that the Exodus story has some real weird chronological problems going on. Because on the one hand, allegedly, according to the book of First Kings, Moses existed during around 1400 BCE, and yet, according to the book of Exodus, the Israelites were building the storehouses of Pithom and Ramesses who wouldn't exist for 200 years after Moses' time, the Bible's a little bit confused as to when Moses lived.
Like, I think, to my own point of view, what if Moses was invented to mock the Egyptians that were expanding into their land? Like, for example, look at
What?
Moses. He lead the Jewish people.
Do you have evidence for this claim?
Wait, if you're saying that Moses was invented to mock the Egyptians, then it looks like you and I agree that Moses didn't exist.
Yes, like for example, now, Moses took the Israelite out of Egypt. Look at the story of the Egyptian Empire. They moved from Egypt upward to Turkey, and I think that Moses, and the Israelites were feeling threatened by their culture and
You know that
I think Moses was-
Gloria, you know the Israelites were never actually enslaved in Egypt, right?
Yes, and no, I think Moses was invented to force the custom.
I too like to hear myself talk.
Yes, I agree. Moses was invented. Now what?
So now, it was invented to codify the culture and custom into law. Like they were trying to force the
Well,
Israelites people to accept.
not really, as the ancient Israelites didn't actually use the Torah as a law code. It wasn't used like people weren't like going to the Torah and like consulting it to like how to punish people. It was more used for like scribal traditions and practicing of writing, and used as a sort of like ideal of what law code should be like. But like we don't actually get the Jewish people actually like trying to use the Torah as a law until like the time of Ezra.
Okay, like Moses' law. I think they call it law of Moses, Mosaic law, right?
I mean, Moses didn't write the law of Moses.
Hello? Okay, but most, like, for example, the Ten Commandments, all those kind of stuff, like, most people, they believe that it's
This is why I only do this show for 3 hours and not 3.5 hours.
What does this have to do with Jesus existing?
Now, what I'm trying to say is that, like, if you look at, like, the Egyptian meaning of
So Moses existed and all of this existed or did not. It has nothing to do with the fact that Christianity is true, and you're just coming up and distracting from that point.
No, okay, wait. So what I'm trying to prove is that, like, if you look, like, I noticed something like in Jesus' time, like when he talks, like,
Wait, one second. I want to know why you're calling, because I don't understand the point you're bringing, like what they're leading to. Why? What ultimately? Before we continue with this conversation, I have to know what is the actual like reason why you're calling up today?
To prove that Christianity is true.
Okay, so did Jesus think that Moses existed?
In my own point, like, I kind of doubt it.
Really? Do we ever have any instances of Jesus in the Gospels talking about Moses?
Now, wait, relax. Like, look at, can you open to Matthew 8?
Wait, I asked you a question first. I asked you a question first. Did Jesus ever talk about Moses existing?
I think so, but
if Jesus thought Moses existed and Moses didn't exist, then at the very least, like, Jesus definitely isn't God. He's not all knowing. Gloria, I don't know why you keep doing. Gloria.
Wait, can you open
Gloria.
to Matthew 8:11?
Okay, I don't know why every time you call and you do this, like, I'll just be trying to tell you something and you're just ignoring me and you're just trying to say something else. I don't give a shit. Okay. Actually, you know what? It's been 3.5 hours. I really don't give a shit. Gloria. Hopefully you can get someone in here who is worth talking to. I'm only going to take 2 more guests. All right.
Hi.
We have here Checks Me Out. Are you at least
right?
Are you at least 18?
Yeah, I'm 33.
What pronouns do you go by?
He, him.
Believer or non-believer?
Non-believer.
Oh, this is going to be a good conversation, I can tell. Okay, Checks. What brings you up to the Bible Guy show?
Man, I honestly stumbled upon your live for the first time tonight, and I just got some questions, man. And I would love to tell you that I absolutely love how you do this, and I love the knowledge that you're spreading. I get into a couple debates with people that stream, And I have a question when it comes to the word Elohim.
Yeah, okay.
Right? So when it comes to Elohim, does this mean many? Are they acknowledging many, or is it just a title?
Ooh, okay. So I got a book here on my shelf. I will give you as a recommendation, and then I'll tell you what the book is about. So I have a book here. It's pretty new. It's by Joel S. Burnett, called A Reassessment of Biblical Elohim, from the SBL Dissertation Series number 183. And he goes into this topic, like, why is it that the Israelites in the Old Testament use the word Elohim for God? For anyone who doesn't know, the word for God typically in Hebrew is El. El means God, or the more poetic form is Eloah, which occurs like in books like Psalms and Jobs and whatnot. Both of these words mean God. Now, words like Elim, which is the plural of El, and Elohim, which is the plural of that poetic form Eloah, both generally typically mean gods, plural. So the question is, why is it that in the Old Testament, the Jewish people use the word Elohim, which is a morphologically plural word, for God? And no, it doesn't mean that God is multiple people or anything like that, because what we notice also is that whenever it describes Elohim, we look at the adjectives and the verbs that are being used for God. For example, it says, Vanivra Elohim et ha'adam, and created God the man. And when it uses verbs like vanivra and he created, it's singular. The noun, the verbs and the adjectives are always in the singular when referring to God, even though it uses Elohim for God. The question is, why is this? And the answer is, there is a, and by the way, this isn't unique to God. There are other examples in the Bible where words which are morphologically plural are used for singular entities. For example, we've all heard of behemoth in the Bible. I mean, we usually use that word in our English language to refer to something which is like really big as being a behemoth. But behemoth is a word in the Bible. It refers to a mythological animal found in the book of Job. It's called behemoth. And why is it called behemoth? Well, in Hebrew, it's behemoth, which is the plural form of the word behemah, which means beast. It literally means beast. And yet, it's used for this singular entity. It's called a behemoth. Or Daniel is called a chasudot, a word which means, in the singular, means desire, or chamudot. Like the word chamud, chamod, is used in Exodus 20 verse 17 for desire, your wife's husband, your neighbor's wife or house, and it's used in the plural to refer to the singular person Daniel. So why does this keep happening? Well, this is what's known as a concretized abstract plural. What does that mean? It means like we take words which are in the plural, like let's say Elohim, which means gods, and sometimes in the Hebrew language these words become abstracted. So they don't just represent a concrete plural, but rather they represent an idea, a concept, an abstraction. In this case, Elohim would represent would relate the abstraction of deity, just the idea of what it means to be divine, deity. But if you have an entity which so perfectly encapsulates what it means to be deity, then you can use this abstract plural and you can concrete it or make it firm in this individual being. So because Yahweh, in the eyes of the Israelites, represents the epitome of what it means to be God, he gets called Elohim. Or because the behemoth is this animal which represents the ultimate of what it means to be a beast. So you have the word behemah, which means beast. Behemoth means beast, but behemoth becomes abstracted to represent beastliness. And if there's an animal which so perfectly encapsulates what it means to be a beast, that animal is now called behemoth. And that's why God is called Elohim in the scripture, because in the eyes of the Israelites, he perfectly encapsulates what it means to be deity.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. That's very insightful. My next question is like, why is the importance of the word hen being neuter So why is it so important that it's not conjugated in the male or the female version?
Pen, as in the word for grace.
Yeah, or when he says, "I am one with the Father," it like when it's translated from Hebrew.
You mean the New Testament? When it says "I and the Father are one," which not be the Hebrew word. The reason what Jesus means when he says "I and the Father are one," it's really quite simple. It means that I and the Father are united in a goal and in a purpose. And the same language is used elsewhere in the Gospel of John. In John 17, Jesus says in John 17:11, "Father, protect them, my disciples, in your name which you have given me, that they may be one, even as we are one." And the idea here is simply that, Jesus aligned himself with the will of the Father. And he's like united with him in goal. And Jesus wants his disciples to be united together in a singular purpose and goal. And that's all it means in the book of John, where it refers to God and Jesus being one.
Man, I just got to thank you so much for, actually letting me up and talking with me tonight. I'm definitely going to follow. Do you have like a set schedule you go live?
I need to get back to having a set schedule, but recently this week I've been going, I'm thinking about starting to go live more days of the week. And I'm thinking about starting to go live later like I'm doing now, because the traffic seems to be I get a lot more callers later at night. So definitely this time of night between like 6 to 12 p.m. It looks like around that time is when I'll start going live, because it seems to like be working.
You guys have definitely earned a follow today, so maybe a subscription soon.
Hey, thank you so much. I do have a YouTube channel if you want to watch more content.
Awesome, will do, man. You take care, both of y'all. Enjoy your night, guys.
You too.
Thank you.
All right, and there is no one else in the request box, so I'm going to read these last super chats, and then I will send you guys off to somebody. If Boma's up and doing her thing right now, I'll probably send you guys over to her. Let's see who is live right now. I don't care. I don't, Karen. I really hope y'all could hear my phone, or else that joke didn't hit. Let's see. It probably didn't hit either way. Yeah, Born Again is live. So after this show is over, I will be sending you guys over to her. All right. Got super chats here. One super chat from @Bjorn Hartmeyer with the 20 Danish krones. Came to find God, got coffee instead. I'm blessed. I don't know what you're referring to, but hey, if you found some coffee, good for you. I'm not a coffee drinker myself. My source of caffeine mostly comes from the doctor. I get mine from the doctor. But I hope you're enjoying your coffee, Bjorn. I guess it is early in the morning for you where you live. And Frabselg 6666 with the 10 Canuck bucks. How's it going, eh? Phenomenal conservatism is self-defeating. Nobody gives a fuck that something seems right to you, caller. Is that what phenomenal conservatism is? 1 second. Screenshot it. I'll read more about this later. Because that's the second time I've heard some Phil Nut say something about it.
I think you could like literally phenomenologically conservative. Like, what does that mean? Like conservative aspects? No, okay.
Yeah, I know. Those two on its own, that doesn't really tell me much. But I will look in. I will open up the Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy later and see what it has to say about this. But I do like the AE letter a lot. You mean like when you have the A and the E? It's called a diphthong. That's that kind of letter when you have the two letters like that. But I don't know in the Roman alphabet what that particular diphthong is called. But I also do like it. It looks nice. Morohu Chelos Carlos, cool name, with a $9.99. Thank you for the knowledge you drop. Helped me see that I was already at the door of atheism a few months ago, and I used these arguments in my Hispanic circle. Rock hard for Doug. What is this new one? MPBYG. What does that one stand for? Someone else help me out here. What is MPBYG? PBYG stand for? I'm sure there are some smart.
May Peggy be your guide?
If that's what it means, hey, if that's what I mean, that's cool. What if it's just like it really just means something else, but you just on the fly came up with that? Because I was trying to think of, I saw the P, I was like, something with Peggy would be good, and I couldn't think of it, and you thought of it on the spot. Do any of you guys know what this is a reference to? Do we have a Peggy emoji? Not emoji, but if you go over to the YouTube side, Velvet, she's sitting on the left side of the screen. She's right here, Peggy, in all her girthy goodness. May Peggy bless your gap, someone said, is also another one. I will accept either one of those. Praise Peggy. And at Praiseflag 6666 with a 10 Canuck bucks. PC is the position that if the philosopher thing is phenomenological conservatism is the position that if something seems right to you, you are justified in believing it, absent any defeaters. I also have no idea what the diphthong in my name are called in Danish. So they're in Danish, but they ultimately derive from Roman. Let's find out together what it means. Here, diphthong.
Well, that PC is if that's the position. Wow, holy fucking shit. That's so problematic.
So it doesn't have a special name. It's just called the AE diphthong. So I guess we learn nothing and something at the same time. Oh, a contradiction. Love it. And at Ophelia Loveshack, also known as Velvet Worm over on TikTok with the $4.99. Peggy is looking fine. She sure is. She always looks fine. Love you, Peggy. That's how we worship in this house. In Danish, it's called a diphthong. Ooh. It's probably derived from the fact that we call it a diphthong. And why it's called a diphthong, I don't know. There are plenty of... I learned about the phrase diphthong for the first time when me and Ashlyn were learning classical Greek on the Great Courses Plus, because there are several diphthongs in the Greek language. For example, you'll see an O and a U together in Greek, and it doesn't... Like, for example, in the word Jesus, and it doesn't make the sound Jesu, but when you see the omnicron and the upsilon together, they just make the sound ooh, Jesus, and that's a diphthong. Anyways, Hot Nun raid. Oh man, Christina, it sucks that you're sending me a raid because we're just now ending, but I'm gonna send your raid and my raid to go raid Born Again Atheist. I love Hot Nun raid is so fucking good. And at Marohu Cielos Claros with $1.99. May Peggy bless your gap. LOL. Okay. May Peggy bless your gap. And with you, my child. I just did a picture of that was me like outlining a dick. It looks like a cross thing. All right. Who again? We're going to send a raid to Born Again Atheist. Let her know that the Bible guy sent you. Adam is live too if people want a smaller creator. So there's your two options, guys. Adam or Born Again. Your choice. Go out and be good representatives of the Bible guy community. Be smart. Be courageous. Remember to keep reading, keep learning, and we will see you all again maybe tomorrow around late in the evening like this again. It was fun. We'll see you guys again. Ashlyn, thank you for coming up and being my my co-host. And we'll see you all again later.
Bye.
Born from dust and questioning fire, wielding truth like a sword of desire. Ancient scrolls and cosmic flame, he tears through myth, he breaks the chain. Echoes of prophets, the stars align, knowledge and thunder intertwine. Reason ascends where blind faith fell, he reads the word and he your eyes.